Welcome to a hot night in Atlanta just outside beautiful Piedmont Park, where two teams will enter and one team will leave with their playoff hopes still alive. The Jacksonville Cannons come to town to face as the Atlanta Hustle. It's going to be a great one tonight. The AUDL Game of the Week on ESPN. As we take a look at Grady Memorial Stadium, the entire regular season comes down to one game in the Southern Division, the Jacksonville Cannons fighting for their playoff chance against the Atlanta Hustle. The Raleigh Flyers have secured the top spot, it looks like, in the division, and two teams, the Hustle and the Cannons, are fighting for second place. Hi everyone, I'm Brian Jones. I'm here with Chuck Kindred. Exciting game tonight, a playoff-like atmosphere. It's going to be a big game for both teams. They both have one game remaining against Nashville after this, but really this is the game that's going to decide the division. Let's take a look first at Atlanta. A lot of big playmakers on that team, Chuck.
Yeah, this is, the Atlanta Ultimate Team has produced a lot of top men's teams over the years, national champions in 2009, and they've got a guy, Dylan Tennell, who you really want quarterback in your offense, opens up the field, really drives the disc towards the end zone.
And let's look at our player of the game, or guy we want to focus on here for Atlanta, Jake Clark, a big playmaker for this team.
Yeah, he's a guy that really turns the needle for these guys. Really exciting, big flashy plays. Was on our top 10 last week, and just a really fun guy to watch play.
We look at the other team, the visiting Jacksonville Cannons. They started off slow this season. They got back into it. We look at their playmaker, 6'7", Misha Freistadter.
You just don't see guys that tall playing Ultimate. I mean, it's a field sport. It's a lot about horizontal movement, but this guy has a basketball background, really boxes out, uses his hips, and he's just a nightmare going deep. You can see the stat line on the bottom of your screen right now, 41 goals. Very hard to deal with.
These two teams couldn't have a more different approach to this game. We're talking with both of the leaderships. Jacksonville's coming in. They're looking to make big plays. Atlanta did a lot of scouting, and they're looking to take advantage of their knowledge and their matchups to drive this one. It's going to be a great one as we look at the sun setting here in Atlanta. We'll be right back with the opening call.
Traveling can be annoying. Airports get crowded. Buses are too slow and pricey. A rideshare would be nice, but finding the right one can feel impossible. Until now, Tripta makes ride-sharing super easy. So put away your thumb and take out your phone. Sign in to the Tripta app instantly with your Facebook account. Want to offer a ride? No problem. Pick your route. Set your price. Register your car and ready to go. Want to find a ride? Select a route. Pick the best schedule for you. And choose the best driver for you based on reviews written by previous passengers. These reviews help you know the people you're traveling with. The Tripta app also lets you chat with other drivers and passengers directly without having to share your phone number. And for women who prefer to ride only with other women, we have a ladies-only option. That's Tripta in a nutshell. Cheaper than a bus ride, less complicated than a plane, and a lot more fun than traveling alone. Plus, with Tripta, you help protect the environment by reducing road traffic. So now you know. Next time you want to ride, forget your thumb and think Tripta.
Style with engagement. Style with confidence. Style with consciousness. Style with vibrance. A wave of social change being born. Waveborn, style with impact.
Find a guy with that off. He moved to that 6'2", but he sort of match up coming your way. It's very hard to stop. He decided to play him tight. He's actually now a firefighter here in Atlanta. He's in the zone. That's why he stepped back. Really frustrating. division, helping Atlanta be second right now for the playoff spot. On the other side, we're seeing more Florida standouts. Guys who helped win national championships around the world. Alton Gaines and Cole Sullivan. Cole Sullivan's one of those players that has a lot of reach and a lot of length in the backhand. He's also one of the players who really rely on their athletic ability to put up big sidewalls.
They're really kind of cocky in the back. Best guy.
Playing for San Diego as we get started. Cannon set to receive for North Carolina. Convert along to Matt Bode. Bode finds Sullivan. Sullivan likes to rip the backhand. Goes wide. Ray Stoddard in. Stoddard. Sullivan up the line. So dangerous. Unleashes a hammer to the break side. For the goal. Yes, the ref signal in. Sullivan hits Kulos to start the game off. And especially know that what teams are afraid of hammers and really they're one of the teams that breaks that in the college team. Earlier on the most. You know what? It's open. I'm going to put it up. No problem.
Yeah, it's important to watch these guys. So that just fluttered a little bit on the hammer, but if you understand the mechanics of the hammer, what can happen when you fix it up, the worst thing that can happen here is it's going to die a little bit to the left. But that's in a safe spot. One of those has a defender on his right shoulder, the dies left, and that's even safer. So nice intelligent throw. You see the execution on here. You know he's supposed to be kicking in the right direction.
Kulos known for his throwing ability as well, but we'll see Atlanta now on offense. Picking up there, Stapleton centers. Fennell, so dangerous from this position. Finds Clark. Clark delivering one deep for Olsen, but it's going to sail out of bounds. First turnover of the game for Atlanta.
Kick back just a little bit to the right.
Is that a shot you still like taking, Chuck?
I would take it, right? But you got to have a little more of a roll curve on it. You got to expect it to drop in there.
Here we see Rock, Crystal Rock out of Florida State University, one of the Callahan finalists, helped leading his team to a semifinals appearance just a month ago in the college scene. Now going deep, up his back shoulder, putting it up with a break opportunity, still outside of the end zone. Fits it in, diving grab, and Jacksonville goes up 2-0 here on Atlanta.
Jacksonville comes out hot. They were going to be unafraid to take shots. Right here with Rochester now. And Atlanta looks a little flat, even after that last pass. They're kind of conceived this one. Barely makes an effort to steal the line. So if I'm an Atlanta coach, if I'm Stu or Miranda, I would want to, give these guys a little quick pressure off. Hey guys, this is live. You got to come out and get ahead. This is
Ierati with the goal.
See her wide open back into the goal. Not a lot you can do there, but you got to take away the direct pass.
But where was the rest of the Atlanta defense? There's one defender there and two receivers.
Yeah, you can see Atlanta kind of jogging to the scene of the crime. So not a lot of help, not a lot of hustle so far out of Atlanta.
Ball goes up. We'll try to get back on track from the early goings. Now we'll pick it. Stapleton has dumped, showing a vertical stack downfield.
On this really wide field, it's such a dangerous look. The vert stack used to be the staple of all offenses. See, it's got such a big lane to the open side and to the break side.
Start up again. Fennell to Clark for the second time. Clark missing on that first possession with a huff deep. Stapleton goes wide. Along to Olsen. Coming horizontally. Big bid, but can't get a hold of it. Clark retains possession. Just outside the end zone. Atlanta knocking on the doorstep, looking for Clark. Is that the space? And they come up with it. Atlanta gets on the board.
Nice look, big deep end zone in the AUDL. Ball's getting high. Must have been right around 5 or 6. He's got to get rid of this. Make the throw out to space.
That's goal scorer Matt Smith coming down within a name we didn't hear before the season, but he's been racking it up. The goals in the end zone, making it easy for Atlanta.
Yeah, I think that might be his 5th season, if I'm not mistaken. Absolutely trained on the end zone, one direction, always. This guy's great.
That's what you're seeing in this pro game. Like, look at an early look at these young athletic cutters. With the wider field, these guys can really take advantage of it and just go to town. If you're a workhorse, it suits you so well.
Different kind of a game. All these guys are used to playing a full weekend of ultimate, so in some ways it seems like this is easier, but such a big field, not a lot of downtime, no pausing to discuss foul calls for a game. So you really have to just get on your horse and run. And, I've heard a lot of guys say, even really athletic, well-trained younger guys say these are really tough games.
Atlanta playing a little bit of a soft defense here. Looks like they're pausing just off the handlers, giving a lot of space. What are they trying to do there, Chuck?
They're flattening out and just trying to make this game a little more of a horizontal look for Jacksonville. No really wants to put a vertical look down.
Sullivan puts it up. Great D coming through. Atlanta going the other way. Anders Olsen, comes through. And the defense jump works here for Atlanta, getting it back down 2-1. Spear, sliding grab. Spear again, demanding this D line. Lenny Sears, the dish. A quick flip gets it in the end zone. Atlanta ties it at 2.
So nice job there by Atlanta to bounce back. All down 2-zip, kind of dialed it in. And, this is something that we've heard about Atlanta. This is a, at least to some extent, a veteran team, a team that doesn't panic. They're gonna get their goals. They're gonna possess the disc a little more than Jacksonville. They may not be as flashy and explosive, but they're certainly a team that's used to winning, used to having adversity. Look at this great run through D. He's got a receiver on either side of him. He explodes all the way through the disc, and that is one of your advantages as a defender. You don't have to play it safe. You just got to get there first by any means necessary. And Atlanta gets a goal out of it.
That's Robert Runner, longtime chain player. Made his home here as a doctor after going to Emory University. Kind of disappeared a little bit from the club scene, but the pro scene just makes it so much easier for guys like that to play, and Runner really a big man for talent. Going deep, the Cannons out for Best. Best, can he run it down? Lays out, in and out of his hands.
Yeah, we saw again, so that's the second throw to that back right corner that we've seen kind of sail. I think the wind is playing tricks on people. They don't realize how much it's kicking. And that was a long run. You could see him laboring by the end of that.
In contact. Atlanta will hang on. Moving it upfield. Going for the end zone. And the 1-point lead, Atlanta back on top. Jacksonville getting off to a fast start, but now it's Atlanta responding. Jack Krieger comes in, the Illinois and Georgia Tech product.
Yeah, nice flow there from Atlanta. Jacksonville not able to stop the bleeding up the backhand side of the field there, and just one after another. Here you can see the deep bit. He goes a little early. I think his legs were giving out on him, and he just kind of put his momentum forward. But watch this nice, precise throw. Just get it out in front. Let your receiver have the first opportunity to catch it. Not the prettiest throw, but to the right spot.
Brial with the assist.
And Peral is their number 5. All he could really do is foul him. You know, he's in a position, he's got all his momentum going one way. If Krieger plays that correctly, which he did, that throw is pretty much undefendable.
So a couple of lead changes early. Jacksonville looking to live and die by the big play. Atlanta being a little bit more patient on the offensive side. Sullivan. Hickson. Hickson was amazingly helping out Jacksonville a couple weekends ago after running a triathlon.
Yeah, pretty interesting in the Tuesday toss, seeing some of his comments and just how he had to prepare to get ready after running a triathlon to play in an AUDL game, and one that mattered, by the way.
Hickson, his former teammate at UCF, Freystotter, puts it in, quick flip, and a whistle. May have been a pick call. This one's coming back.
I love watching Freystotter set these things up. He uses his hips in a way that no other player does. You can see him pivot around there and just establish position to give himself an easy throw and go. Not only is he going to break you, but he's got you on his back hip, so as soon as he starts running, he's open again.
Is there any other big man that we see in this sport that can do that have that finesse?
I think any of them can do it, but most of them don't. He comes from that basketball mentality of, I'm going to have position, I've got size, you will not get the disc. And, you know, he's just one of those guys that thinks about where his hips are a lot more than most other players.
I remember hearing about him for the first time at UCF and hearing he's in Japan playing basketball. Not sure how true Japan was, but I know that he definitely came from the background. Jacksonville just on the line.
Nice shot around there from Poulos, number 80 here. Poulos, one of the most creative throwers you'll see.
Hickson fits it, tries to fit it in, but really right to the hustle defender.
Yeah, not sure what he was looking out there. He had defenders on either side, an easy play for Atlanta. And that's kind of what you see with Atlanta. They're going to have the leveler heads. Jacksonville is going to be a little more flustered. They're young. Honestly, I think Jacksonville's talent and upside might be just better, flat out better than Atlanta's. But that doesn't mean they're going to win the game.
Troy getting it back on a give and go. That was Anders Olsen's second D of the game, and no question, ripping it deep for Olsen for the bookends, but out of bounds by a large margin. That's the second Huck we've seen drift out that, this time on the left side of the field.
Yeah, not sure. Maybe it's just a downwind Huck that guys aren't calibrating. It's kind of like going and seeing guys play at altitude. The disc doesn't turn over the way you think it does and trails off I.O.
Sullivan. Yeah, when you go out to Boulder, Colorado, it makes quite the difference. I'm a guy that's gone out and played in college and had a 67-yard flick, and I threw an 85-yard standstill. Felt pretty good.
Yeah, it's definitely an ego stroke to play at altitude. Doesn't hurt that they have a defending national champion on the men's side right now. And probably the best women's player in the game right now. I believe Opie's playing for Molly Brown. I haven't seen anybody on her level.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible athletes in the women's division. Poulos. Quick flip. Jacksonville ties it up at 3. Finding Freystotter, the behemoth. At that point, if you're letting him go home free, it's just the biggest target in the game, and you're going to put it right in.
Yeah, he's trouble. And you see, as soon as he's got you on his back, he's right where he wants to be. It's kind of fun watching him and comparing him to a guy like Bo Kittredge. Bo uses position much the same way, a lot of strength, a lot of size, but he usually uses his shoulders to establish position. You can see Freystotter here torches his guy, didn't matter. But he's more likely to put his hip on you, really stick his butt out, kind of like, I'm trying to think of a basketball player who does that. Probably like a Chris Paul. The reason Chris Paul going to the hole, LA Clippers point guard, the reason he doesn't get blocked is usually because he just puts his hip on you and extends out away from you. He can score on guys who've got 6-8 inches on him, no problem.
You're starting to see that, I think, around in Ultimate in general, more focused on boxing out ability. And it's something that, has always been around, but you can really start to see guys making money off of that when it comes down to it. They just need to get position. You can throw them a jump ball, but they don't need to be guys with 40-inch verticals. They can just hold their position really well. Looking for Olsen, Christian Olsen this time. Going deep for Clark. Clark goes up and gets it 10 yards outside the end zone. And the Vuvuzelas are out in force. Not sure it's helping the Atlanta offense, but it does right now. 4-3, they go up by 1.
And what is with vuvuzelas anyway? I've never understood how hearing that sound would somehow fire you up and make you want to play more. It makes me want to take a nap or like put earplugs in.
Or makes you want to run away. I don't know if it makes you want to run faster just to get away from the sound, but nonetheless, it's the home crowd is trying to help out their Atlanta Hustle. They're up 4-3. Stephen Hicks on the receiving end of that goal.
Yeah, Atlanta's starting to settle in here. This is going to be a back and forth game, and you know when you look at the standings and you look at the head-to-head, basically the winner of this game is going to win the head-to-head. And assuming both of these teams, if needed, will be able to beat Nashville next week, which is an assumption, by the way. Jacksonville lost to Nashville back in April. But assuming that, this is basically the game to go. This is the first round of the playoffs in the South in a lot of ways.
And the South doesn't have that first playoff game, which a lot of the divisions do, so we're really fortunate to see Jacksonville make this run throughout the season. Here, let's talk about this zone right now that Atlanta's throwing.
Yeah, mixing up the looks, trying to get these Jacksonville guys. I mean, when you're playing against a team that loves to huck, a zone is a nice, quick look to transition out of. They're staying with it here.
I mean, there's a lot of holes in this zone. What is Atlanta really trying to force Jacksonville to do?
Just not huck it and do what they're used to doing, more or less. But yeah, it's not working. I'm not sure why they didn't transition out of it there.
Jacksonville has no problem. Matt Bode with the goal. Yeah, typically you see teams try to go with a change of pace, maybe disrupt the rhythm. It looked like, though, in the previous possessions, Atlanta was doing a good job of that. Are they just trying to mix up their looks to make sure they don't become predictable and don't let Jacksonville get comfortable?
I think so. I mean, they know this is a young team, and you know the offense for Jacksonville is very good, very productive, but they rely on their size and they rely on some jump balls. So anything you can do to disrupt them, get them in their head, you know, make it a thinking man's game. If it's a young guy, you want to get him in his head. You want to bother him. You want to make him do something he's not used to doing. So I think that's what they were trying to do. You can see here it really didn't bother Jacksonville hardly at all.
You know, reminds me a little bit, and sometimes zones go to the extreme. You see an international team actually like Japan, where they throw no-mark zones, where they just let the throwers sit there, think about it, and try to delay and get the offense out of rhythm. Sometimes it can work. Cannell now back on offense. It's underneath. Finds Olsen. Talking to Tuba Benson-Jada, the coach of the Jacksonville Cannons. He's talking about the Atlanta Cutters, maybe some of the smartest in the game. Olsen, one of those. Clark. Olsen striking deep. Out in front. Into the hands for the goal. Atlanta goes up. Brian Moore out of Alabama with the goal.
Yeah, you can see the Hucks going in that direction, floating a little better than in the to our right on the camera here. So there was a call.
And this is, I think, a travel call, perhaps, is going to give back Jacksonville the disc. And they're just going to try to strike while the iron's hot.
So contrast these two Hucks. The first Huck goes up to our left and floats. The wind slows it down, turns it over. This one going to the right half of the field just dives and accelerates.
Basic adjustment is throwing it with more height.
Yeah, make the adjustment, release it higher, give it more of a chance to turn over. Huck goes up this, and now watch how this hangs up. You can really see the wind in play.
Great grab over the top. Jacksonville back with the disc. Multiple turnover point, and you're stumbling a little bit when you try to make the catch. You have to make that one if you're the Cannons trying to help them make playoffs. Tennell finding Moore. Moore tries to fit it in a great layout D. Alton Gaines, another Florida product.
Yeah, great D there by Gaines. You know, that's the kind of play that in the club game would probably be called a strip and it would probably be coming back, but I don't think he had possession. Definitely had his hand on it.
Langdon, UCF product here, going back to his teammate John Best, former teammate. I mean, a lot of these guys here, one of the players they're missing right now is Andrew Roca, who actually is the head coach at UCF. And you see the product of his hard work over the last several years. John Best, Jeremy Langdon, and when you get a guy like Frey Stoddard, he's got a lot of talent. And back and forth they go. Jay Clark produces another highlight reel performance. Tennell Stapleton. Moore. Moore gets it back. Tennell. To the end zone. Fits it into the goal. And yes, we wait for the signal. This one is going to be official. Matt Smith adding his 56th goal of the year.
He is just a workhorse. And that's, I mean, you can see on that last play, not an easy throw, has to get it right on the sideline with some touch. And that's what Dylan Tennell does. You can see, if you watch downfield and watch some of the cutters, as soon as the disc touched Dylan's hands, light bulbs go on in the cutter's heads. They say, oh, well, maybe I could score right now. Maybe I can cut for the hammer right now. Or, you know, most guys wouldn't be able to throw around the mark, but Dylan can. And he really opens things up. Watch this great layout underneath by Clark. He's so athletic, always hunting for those baiting unders. And here's this just nice touch throw. I mean, it doesn't look like hardly anything when you watch the replay. But he puts it right where only Smith can catch it. There's no play for the defense. It doesn't float. There's no chance of error. He's really a guy that can be maddening if you're trying to get a D.
Bode waiting for the pole for the Cannons.
Bode and Poulos, both guys that tried out for Raleigh, is that right?
Yeah, they actually are starting up their own North Carolina team. This one looking deep for Sullivan. Lots of people in the area. And Sullivan somehow comes down with it out of the crowd. Flips it up. Just outside the end zone. Poulos with a flip. Freystadter with the goal. 5-5. Shaking your head, Chuck.
You just don't see guys do it the way these guys do it. I mean, just all position. The deep shot goes up, all position, all the way there. Nice, easy catch. You know, there's just such a focus on position against the defender for Jacksonville, and it really works. I mean, these look like high percentage shots when they catch them. They're really not. They're just shots up into the air. But you've got these intelligent receivers who know what they're doing. Sullivan just establishes position, keeps the guy, you know, right in front of him, right where he wants him, goes up, two-handed catch. Watch him set this up. Number 2, you're not getting in. This is my line. I'm going straight. My catch. Nice and easy. And then I love watching this. Watch him put his hip. Watch him use his hip to just get a wide-open throw. Catrone's so intelligent. I mean, all these guys just so intelligent with the way they establish and maintain position.
Catrone, another Florida product, and guy with an insane length. I mean, that's just like arms are drooping down to his knees.
Yeah, he probably has to watch and not step on his hands while he's running, right?
Yep. Moore with only 30 seconds to go. See if Atlanta can take advantage and put one in. There's a foul call as time is running down. Clark. Laying out. Can't get it. Atlanta will keep possession. And a backpack.
Yeah, big bids from Jacksonville. You know they want to stop this goal. They do not want Atlanta to have a red zone look. Hammer goes up.
Wide open. Back of the end zone. Brian Moore gets on the board here for Atlanta with only a few seconds to go in the first quarter. It's big for Atlanta. They'll be receiving here in the second quarter.
This is a picture-perfect cross-field hammer. Just drops it in right over the top. Really not an easy throw. Stapleton just snaps over the top, keeps the shape, lets it just fall in there. That's a head-scratcher if you're Jacksonville. You're saying, we like the high ball. We want it to go up. Too good of a throw from Stapleton, though.
A lot of space on the field to utilize that hammer. We saw Sullivan do it earlier for this first point for Poulos for Jacksonville, but Atlanta now strikes back with their own. 6 seconds to go. I gotta say, Chuck, the referees so far have been on top of this one. You don't see them letting the physical play slide.
Yeah, they've been calling a pretty clean game. And, you know, keeping it moving. You know, I think I haven't seen any calls that they miss. It's not always easy to get these right in real time, but the AUDL refs do a pretty darn good job making the right call, keeping the play moving. And you know what I really like is they take the focus off of your opponent and they make it about the game. You know, as a player, I've heard guys say they feel like they have more spirited interactions and a better feeling towards their opponent because they don't have to argue with them. Now, you know, the flip side is maybe it's good for you to resolve your conflicts in a way that's mature, in a way that reflects the spirit of the game that we've all grown to love. But I'll be honest, for me, my spirit takes a dip when I'm tired, dehydrated, and losing.
Well, hopefully you won't be losing too much longer, Chuck. Sullivan. Good chance here for Jacksonville, but Atlanta says no, and they'll walk away here in the first quarter with a 1-point lead. It looked like Jacksonville was going to be on fire to start this one. Atlanta has battled back with some smart, patient offense. Some great D from Anders Olsen. We saw a great layup by Jake Clark. We'll be back with more here in the second quarter. This is the AUDL Game of the Week on ESPN.
We're going to teach your kids about sportsmanship, spirit of the game. We're going to teach our kids conflict resolution. They're going to have a great time. They're going to get an amazing message about cancer. It's not a death sentence. It's not something you need to be scared of. It's something that you need to have a winning attitude towards, like an opponent on a field.
The AUDL has brought a lot of professionalism to Eric. The players are all big role models. They're perfect Eric ambassadors. They teach the game. They love kids. Kids love them. It's just a great combination.
Go Team Eric! We are Team Eric!
Back here looking at Midtown Atlanta, a place I used to call home, Chuck. Not too much in the summer, though. It's a hot one here tonight, but Atlanta Hustle leading the Jacksonville Cannons 6-5. I'm Brian Jones here with Chuck Kindred. A lot of people out here on the 4th of July, a pretty good crowd here at the pro game is really getting going. We're going to take a look here at some of the big plays from the first quarter. And as we go into that, apologize earlier for some audio issues, but let's take a look. Jake Clark is getting it done.
Watch Sullivan, number 14 here, just set up position and expand away from the defender to make the catch. So many smart big guys on Jacksonville.
Great grab.
Here's this beautiful crossfield hammer to end the first quarter here. Just dropping a dime.
So Chuck, let's contrast these two styles here. We talked to the coaches before the game of Jacksonville. They said, you know what? We're a bunch of traveling athletes and big playmakers. We're going to enjoy our time. We're going to show our emotion. We're not going to worry about matchups. We're going to go make big plays. Look at Atlanta. They had a film session on Wednesday. They have specific matchups down the line with Greg Swanson, their head coach, out this week. Which style do you like better, or is it that both styles suit the teams individually?
Well, I think both styles definitely suit the teams. I like Jacksonville's style. I think they're a lot of fun to watch. They're out there trying to go toe-to-toe with anybody and make the play. I mean, they're a little younger, maybe a little more reckless, but they've also got the athleticism to boot. They've got the size. They've got smart, intelligent receivers who, I mean, to be honest, there's no reason they can't win this game. I think most people coming into this game had Atlanta, especially at home, winning this game, but I'm not so sure Jacksonville's not ready to pull the big upset.
Hicks to receive. And Tunnell is running deep for the first time. Stapleton finds more. And for Olsen. Now it goes back to Hicks. Choi, trailing edge grab. Stapleton. Finding Clark. Clark over the defender. That was Patterson laying out past Clark. Stapleton. Looks like it will be a pick called on the play, and it will lose 10 yards. And go to it. Hicks flips it out for Tunnell. And it's going to be a foul call. Going to stay with Atlanta. Hicks.
Yeah, pretty aggressive mark there.
We've seen Atlanta really try to break out the junk defenses, but Jacksonville's just been go, go, go. More. And a miscommunication, some hesitation by Olsen coming in.
Yeah, and props to Travellini here, about to pick up the disc. He made it really hard. All the resets were really hard. Not a lot of easy looks. Did a little bit of a 360-degree mark as the stall count got high, and I think he just bothered that handling core of Atlanta enough to force a turnover.
I think it's the best defensive effort we've seen. This one going deep, over the top. Backside, wide open, flip for the goal. Jacksonville ties it up.
And once again, Jacksonville just playing smarter when the disc is up in the air. I mean, this is not a high percentage throw on most teams, but on Jacksonville, I would say that it is a high percentage throw. You know what your guy's going to do. You're giving him that trailing edge, you know, blading flick, moving away from the defender, and you got a guy who you know is going to read it well. You know, not a lot to look at here, but he says, you know what, I like my guy here.
So how do you adjust if you're led to this style of play?
Well, you're at a disadvantage here, but there's no reason he can't make this play. You can see there's no physical barrier here. Misread there. And way out in front of the disc. These guys need to get a library card and start making some plays, because Jacksonville is reading all these just very well.
St. John's with the play. Raleigh St. John's.
Yeah, we'll see if Atlanta has some guys that can start to shut down the big looks from Jacksonville. So far, there's so many guys they can huck to that it's really hard to target one guy. Like, let's say you push Misha under for a point. Well, you got Sullivan going deep.
Saw a different look here from Atlanta. They broke out of their normal vertical stack.
Yeah, nice spread, lots of space. Guys cycling from the hander position upfield. Dylan Tennell with the disc, action time. You see Clark gives him a deep look. So, pretty level game so far from Dylan. A lot of times, you know, he can either dig your grave or he can dig your opponent's grave. He's so lethal with the disc. So far, he's been very conservative.
Atlanta seems to be responding with a good possession so far. They find Clark for the goal. No problems there as they walk it down.
Yeah, so to give you an idea of the difference between Jacksonville and Atlanta, the difference between these 2 points is when Dylan had the disc there, midpoint, that huck goes up for sure to Clark, and he puts a guy on his back and makes a catch. On Atlanta, Dylan sees that and then breaks the mark, 3, 4, 5 more passes for an easy inside lane here goal. Watch this nice, soft, it's kind of a soft break. He's really not throwing it to the break side, but he's throwing it up the middle. And this is a high percentage goal. This is an easy one. Same result though, right? Clark catches a goal.
Jay Clark has been named that, you know, really originated at Georgia Tech, but he started his ultimate career in Tufts, was the captain there when Tufts made their first run in nationals in 2011. Not first, I should say, but coming through after some years of not being relevant. He tore his ACL that season, actually, was sitting there and just came back to try to play some games at nationals. And then moved on to Georgia Tech, and with Nick Lance, they actually made a run back to Boulder the next following year. Clark involved a lot with the music scene and making highlight videos, some of the best ones you'll see. Hickson goes up but is out of bounds. Hickson made that catch. And not in the right place. Some confusion here.
So the referees are going to discuss here briefly. That was a heck of a catch over the top. I'm not sure what happened. Did he catch it and then lose his footing? Number 87 made a nice play over the top. That's Michael Hickson. Didn't look like he had any business catching that disc, Brian.
Well, it's going to stay with Atlanta. Real. It's a contact call. Spear. And Freystadter run through D.
Such a smart player. Really has a nose for the disc. And watch, I mean, he just anticipates that D. That's
really?
Doesn't use his size, just flat out read the offense and took the disc.
Really lucky for Brial. He didn't get trucked there. That would not have been a fun collision. Spear bumping with Freystadter. And they're not allowing the contact whatsoever. They're really doing a good job here of making sure, because I mean, these two teams really could get into it. There's a lot of athleticism, and there could be a lot of physicality. Hammer, the end zone, but a call by the refs.
Might have been a foul before the throw. Not sure what happened there. Freistatter decided to go over the top, drop a hammer in, and he's going to get the middle of the end zone. So foul on the mark there.
Freistatter goes up to his former teammate Michael Hickson. When you're 6'7", fighting 6'5", seems pretty easy.
Yeah, I mean, did that look like we were live? Did not look like a walkthrough at practice or something like that? What are you going to do, right? What's your strategy there?
Hopefully grow a few inches before the possession ends.
Yeah, jetpacks. We're going to be debuting, Atlanta House is going to be debuting jetpacks in the second half and jump to 13.
I don't know about those rule changes, Chuck, but it's 7-7 right now with Atlanta and Jacksonville. We're having some fun tonight. It's July 4th after all. A lot of fans out here. Great game. It's a playoff atmosphere as it should be. Basically, the winner of this game is going to be the one that goes home feeling great because they're going to be in a playoff spot, assuming they win at Nashville next weekend. It's Atlanta. They pretty much have it sewn up. If it's Jacksonville, they have to go and win that game in Nashville. And they did, though, unfortunately drop one earlier this season. But they still would be the heavy favorites going into that one.
That's right. Nashville will give them a fight. That's for sure.
Now,
yeah, Atlanta does. Atlanta controls their own destiny here. They win. They're looking good. It's kind of a shame, you know, this is an expansion year for the South. So only the 2 bids instead of the 3 that you might like to have, especially in a division like this where there's 3 teams that are kind of a cut above the rest. And, you know, let's say Jacksonville gets left out. What a shame. I mean, Jacksonville's a team that could give almost any team trouble.
Clark going deep. Tipped. Not caught.
So the ref's letting him play here. A little bit of contact in the down low on that bid.
Quick flip. Carlton. Travellini.
That's an unfortunate name for an Ultimate player, isn't it? Travellini.
You might be stopping play trying to say that one. A lot of nicks, turning into picks.
That's like if you're a Paganello and somebody calls it Travellini. I think, right?
Yeah, Paganello. For those who don't know, Paganello, a famous beach tournament in Italy. You know, one of those tournaments on the bucket list for any Ultimate player. But Jacksonville regaining the lead 8-7. This one is just going to go back and forth, and I don't think we're going to stop for a while.
Yeah, there's no quit at all on either team. And you know, one thing that's worth mentioning is this might be one of the first times that we've seen Jacksonville at full strength all year. You know, they've had a couple of U23 guys, they had a couple guys playing college nationals, and for whatever reason, you know, a couple injuries, and for whatever reason, we just haven't seen the full capability of this team. But everybody's pretty much here. Anybody you might want to see is on the field, and you know, they're a scary team. Like I said, I mean, if you wanted to know which team could pull an upset against any other team in the AUDL, probably Jacksonville. And this is a team you would not want to see in the playoffs.
And I think all of Ultimate is just waiting for the scene of Florida to get their act together, and this is really helping. Because Florida is a big state, really long. If you're in Miami, you're 8 hours away from coming up. Right now, Freistatter actually living in South Florida. He flew to this game. You see a lot of guys in Gainesville and then in Tampa for UCF. UCF's actually based in Orlando. I'm thinking of USF. Olsen to Moore.
Wow, risky around throw there. Mark was very close to touching that one.
That around is still very hard to stop for most players. You see just reflexively a lot of Ultimate players will catch and throw that no matter what. Olsen. Spear. Olsen throws it right to Jacksonville. Was trying to lead that one into space for Choi, but couldn't execute the throw. Had good vision for it.
Yeah, an interesting idea. I'm not sure what happened there. That was kind of like that throw. There's nothing to look at.
Well, Jacksonville obliges and sends it right back.
Let's play catch.
I don't think that's what they had in mind, but maybe this a little bit more for the hustle. No, Jacksonville.
Pretty close to a strip. That might be what they're calling here. Let's see what the call is.
But it's going to be a strip actually on Walker. Jeff Walker Willingham making the grab. And Cannons will keep the disc.
Wow, yeah, it looked like he picked it clean.
It was Hannah that was nearby.
Wow, that is a heck of a play. When that went up, it looked like he had no business getting you the disc. But that's, that kind of gives you, again, a decent perspective of the difference between these two teams. There's no way Jacksonville would have let a guy get that kind of position off the backside of a deep shot. There's no way.
Wharton. Best. John Best is one of the guys out of UCF that I've been keeping my eye on for years now. And I like the way he commands the game. I think he's still got some growth to do to kind of make it to the top level, but the way he pivots, the way he's able to just sit there and control it. You know what? I jinxed him, Chuck. That was not a friendly forehand coming out of that.
Yeah.
Sorry, John, that's my fault.
We said he has some room to improve. That's an area that he could improve on, I suppose.
We have a timeout on the field. The Cannons have regained the lead. They lead 8-7. We'll see if Atlanta can respond. Right now, it's all Cannons making all of the plays on the AUDL Game of the Week on ESPN. Sun setting here on Grady Stadium in Midtown Atlanta, just south of Piedmont Park. Chuck, I don't know if you've been over to the Botanical Gardens, but you should if you haven't. Great view over there. It's a nice way to cool off under the shade as we take a look at some Ultimate being played again. Look at this D. Walker says no to Hannah. And Hannah, it looked like Hannah had the inside track to grab that one.
It sure did. I'm not sure if he just didn't realize there was pressure coming off the backside. But again, you've got two guys. One of them has to play the position game there, and neither of them do. And that's like I said, that's the difference between Atlanta and Jacksonville. Jacksonville will never give up position on a deep shot. Their bigs are so aware of where they are and where you are that you're not going to sneak in off the backside.
Well, Atlanta off the timeout has Tennell with the disc. Looking for Clark. Out to space. Great vision. Runner to the end zone. The lefty. Atlanta ties it up at 8. Trenton Spinks comes down with it.
Slick move there by Spinks. Kind of sets his guy up with a quick shot to the middle of the field and then releases back to the pylon.
I'll tell you what, Chuck, I don't know if I want to talk about any more positives about any player because it seems like my words are just becoming the kiss of death here tonight. But that was a great move. Clark really opens things up with the first pass.
Yeah, nice coordination there. Spinks all alone. Got some patriotic music here in Atlanta.
Renner sends the pole deep. Poulos finding Sullivan. Sullivan loves the backhands. Catrone. Hickson. Poulos. Looking for Bode on the backside. Great read and vision for Poulos, finding chemistry with his North Carolina teammate, Matt Bode.
Yeah, that's the kind of throw that Poulos has that a lot of guys don't. He can his flick is so dynamic. I've been watching him play since he was in college at Florida State. Just is able to find angles, just snap this and just carve it around the defender somehow. I mean, there's really nothing to look at, but this ends up being a clap catch for both. I mean, if you're Choi, you're saying, Coach, where should I have been standing? I was right where I wanted to be. There's nothing to look at. And then somehow he just carves up the field and gets it around to the back cone. There's nothing you can do.
And then really, that's an overreactive mark there. if you're going backhand to start with and you're maybe a little bit flat, that's something that Atlanta will have to rethink.
Yeah, he really came around there, didn't he?
Atlanta has been switching things up, and earlier on they seem to play really soft on the handlers, but they've gotten away from that. Is there any other strategies you think that you would try to implement here against Jacksonville?
I think they're doing some of the right things. They got to take them out of their rhythm and not make these 0 points easy. But really, they just got to start winning some of the high balls. I mean, I know that's a tall order, no pun intended, but they really, they have decent size. Dylan can guard. Wooten, he's pretty physical and pretty effective in the air. They just got to get some matchups and play some help off the backside. Just make some plays. Get the disc, punch it in. They're the team that honestly is going to play a better possession style offense. So they need to focus on punching it in when they get it.
More. Matt Smith is wide open. Hicks doesn't like the original look. Finds Olsen. Hammer to Clark. Space in the back of the end zone. Clark immediately going to the ref about something, but nonetheless a goal for Atlanta. Both teams keeping pace with 2 minutes to go here in the second quarter. I'm talking about the coaching staff here. Both teams. We look at you don't normally see a coach come in and just say, we're going to make the big plays. We're going to have fun. We're going to show our emotion. That's what Tuba Benson Jaja has talked about. Former Ring of Fire player actually was talking to him earlier and said, you look like you can still play. And he's like, yeah, I've been getting that a lot.
Yeah, really athletic, fun player. And, I was talking to a couple of the players on Atlanta tonight about how they like playing for Tuba. First name's Tuba. We all call him Tuba. But, real positive guy. Focuses on the mental aspect of the game. Yeah, we're going to train the body. Yeah, we're going to prepare us different sets. But he really designs even workouts that challenge you to focus and execute when you're tired. And I think, the guys like it. It really pushes them to be smarter and to really get the best out of themselves when it counts.
Patrone. Ray Stoddard. Hickson. A little bit of handling here from Misha. Flip to Poulos. Contact on the layout. Poulos figuring out where to go. He's going to take it to the middle.
I misspoke, by the way. Tuba coaches Jacksonville. And the guys really respond to that positivity and the ability to perform in big moments. Nice break there from Poulos to get it into the end zone. But, if you want to know how some teams are able to pull upsets and how some teams are not, a lot of that has to do with the mental side of the game. Do you believe in yourself? Have you prepared yourself to do better than anybody thinks you can? Maybe better than you've ever done. Are you prepared for that? For a lot of players and a lot of teams, the answer is no. They're not prepared for that kind of success. And as a result, they don't see it manifest on the field.
It's not just talent. I mean, you hear famous quotes about it all the time, but it's so overlooked because of when you see those mistakes manifest themselves on the field, it looks like execution, it looks like talent.
Yeah, it's true. And, as Americans, we expect excellence. Here on the birthday of America's independence, we expect excellence, and we're really into what we can see, what we can taste, touch, smell, what's measurable. As a culture, we like to be able to measure things and see how they work and why they work and who's the best player and who's the hero. Big shot goes deep here.
Looking for Smith. Backside, and that's the cannon we talked about with Cannell. Puts it out for Smith. Tries to lay out, and that would have been incredible by Matt Smith.
Yeah, Smith's so athletic, so quick. You can tell the throwers really like throwing to him. Gave him a little too much credit with that back-to-back deep shots,
Have a timeout on the field with 1 minute to go. Jacksonville looking to sub in their O-line. See if they can separate just a little bit. Smith. Inches away.
Wow. So close. Here you can see Tuba at work here, calling the guys in. You know, giving them the reset, giving them a couple quick items of feedback. And, you know, a lot of times you want to have positivity. You want to be instilling that culture that gives your team success. But you also want to be giving just simple, you know, tactical feedback to your guys. When you're tired, I mean, you played, you know how this goes, and you also coach. You want to be giving these guys little adjustments. What's going on out there? You know, I'm tired. Maybe I'm in my head a little bit about the last play. What are some simple adjustments I can make right now? Tuba's very good at condensing it down that way.
You got to figure out language is such a big part of that, and you can get technical, but how you teach and how you phrase things is important. So those key words can come up, and you say, "We've been in this situation before." I can hear that and react to it, as opposed to a wordy explanation. You only have 60 seconds here to get a play in.
Yeah, Jacksonville would love to go up 2 here at the end of that first half.
And after, it looks like Jacksonville did not wait for the whistle, and so they're going to get a 10-yard penalty in their own end zone. Start things off. They're allowed to move around, but they have to wait for the whistle. Now, and they're arguing about the clock right now. It should be at about 1:06. I believe it's at 40 seconds right now.
Yeah, the disc was never in. Is that right?
Well, they're going to keep it here.
Here's another one of those maddeningly precise forehands from Poulos.
And they left the deep guy open, and he ends up with it. Nobody around him. Avery Van Russell comes down with it. Easy goal for Jacksonville, and if you're Atlanta, that's got to be frustrating.
Yeah, you know, the deep came under there, saw that throw from Poulos and said, that's a little overthrown, I'm going to go in and get it. And I'm not sure if he hesitated for a split second or not, but you cannot miss. If you're the deep and you go for a disc, you have to get it, and this is why. Next throw is wide open, shot to the end zone. But that, I mean, that really is what Poulos does well. He's somehow, I swear, I've watched him play for many years, and it seems like somehow when he lunges out to huck a flick, it's almost like he lunges halfway down the field. It's bizarre. He's able to create these angles and somehow find ways to get the disc to his receiver that don't exist. I swear when you look at it, you say, that's an impossible throw. But just like the last one, he drops it right in.
Atlanta with 55 seconds on the clock, and we see Clark. Tunnell picking and biding his time, it looks like. Finding Smith up the gut. Clark. Olsen angles one for Moore. Up the box out. Nobody along the backside. This goes over the top of Moore. And another timeout here by Jacksonville. They'll get the disc back with 20 seconds to go. We'll stay here with you guys tonight here on July 4th in Atlanta. Chuck, you've been here for a couple days. What have you been doing? Anything fun? Any sights? Any food?
You know, the standard stuff. I've had one of the best bison burgers I've ever had in my life here in Atlanta. Definitely know how to cook down here. Glad I don't live here because my BMI would be climbing by the day. Good barbecue, good fun. So we've got our chopper up in the air. We're going to get a live report from the chopper in just a few minutes. We pull out all the stops here on the AUDL.
It's fun times on July 4th. Nowhere I'd rather be, honestly, here tonight in this playoff game. It's a pleasure to call here with Chuck Kindred. I'm Brian Jones. We'll take you into half. Jacksonville looking to go up and extend this lead. This would be the largest one we've seen. It's been a 2-point swing back and forth. It was Jacksonville early. Atlanta rallied back, and now it's Jacksonville again. And the positivity really emanating. And this is something when you talk about with teams, you have the flow, and it's fun, and it's exciting, it's contagious.
Yeah, there's two different kind of mentalities, just to condense everything down. You can be excited about the opportunity of winning, you can be afraid of the opportunity of, failing. And a lot of teams really do well when they grind and they work in that negative space. They work, I'm not going to be the one to mess it up. I will not give up the goal. I don't want to lose. I hate losing. You know, a lot of teams play their best there, but some teams play even better when they just get excited about the win. Big shot goes up deep from Poulos. Looks like he might have gotten touched or maybe a travel.
Or may have gone in early from the whistle.
Smith makes the play at the other end, though. So let's see. I think it might be coming back.
Yep, it's going to be looks like an early start penalty from Poulos, but that type of cannon is what we've talked about.
Yeah, he's a natural fit on a team called the Jacksonville Cannons. He is absolute trouble with the disc. So 20 seconds left. Let's see if Jacksonville can get it down the field. Big shot goes up deep.
Looking for Freystatter. Not going to be in. It's going to get out of bounds. A timeout by Atlanta with 9 seconds to go. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with the ending here of the first half, the AUDL Game of the Week on ESPN.
Zipcar is the world's largest car-sharing network, providing the freedom to go where you want, when you want, with the wheels you want. Just join online and receive your Zip card in the mail. Reserve a car when you need it. And tap your Zip card to get in. Keys are in the car. Gas, insurance, and 180 miles included. Return it to the same spot, lock it up, and you're all set until your next trip. Simple as that. Zipcar. Wheels when you want them.
Starting to get a little bit cooler. It was brutal earlier here, Chuck.
Yeah, we're both big boned, you know, and we don't do well in the heat. We're probably the kind of animals in nature that would probably find us in water on days like this. Just kind of.
I really sympathize with the bears when they go into their caves and hibernate for the winter. I mean, it's a great time.
Yeah. Yeah. I have shedded that layer of protective fat that I had earlier this year, and I'm glad I did. Because in heat like this, I'm not used to the southern heat. I do not do well here. This isn't even a hot day, I don't think, for Atlanta, by the way. It's like 80 and muggy. This is a standard day.
And we'll see Tennell pick up the disc off of the timeout. 8 seconds to go. Play won't start until, I believe he throws it. Actually, 20 seconds to go.
Wow. So that disc never coming in is huge for Atlanta. They got a red zone look with 20 seconds left. They can pull within one.
And the clock started a little bit earlier there. Actually, 18 seconds to go on the game clock. Going back for Jake Clark, back in the end zone, toes the line. Clark had a little bit more room than he needed, but nonetheless, he comes down with it for Atlanta, and that's crucial. Getting within one. We're still showing 10 seconds left here in the second quarter. Jacksonville will have a chance to respond.
That is really big. I mean, they were on the verge of going down 3 to Jacksonville going into half. The Huck goes up on the previous point. Jacksonville doesn't keep it in bounds, so it's a turnover. It comes all the way back. Plenty of time for Atlanta, and they take advantage and pull within one. If you're Jacksonville, you got to just be kind of kicking yourself.
Talked about the mental game. Do the emotions swing in this case? If you're a team that rides the emotional highs, what about how do you handle those emotional lows then?
Well, you know, I mean, if there's a culture of positivity, it will carry you in moments just like this one. So I wouldn't necessarily, you know, unless you see it in the body language, see it in some of the decision making, I wouldn't necessarily worry about it. But yeah, I guess you're right. If it's a really, you know, really fiery, emotional team, you do get those swings. They can be high and they can be low. You know, a guy like Poulos, number 80, who catches the disc, he's a guy who has incredible highs and incredible lows. Like, he's just one of those guys you can ride him to victory, or you might have to bench him. Shot goes up to the end zone. Let's see if this has enough on it.
Trying for the greatest attempt, and Atlanta will smelt that one out. Well, that will end the first half here. Jacksonville, in a back-and-forth game, ends up with a 1-point lead. Atlanta able to put one in the waning seconds here of the second quarter. We'll be back in about 15-20 minutes with some more coverage of this essential playoff game here as the Jacksonville Cannons are visiting the Atlanta Hustle for the Southern Division playoff spot number 2. We'll be back in a few moments to take a look at our top 10 plays of last week. Thanks for joining us so far. We'll be back in a bit.
Justin Allen skies to the score. Shot off Mechanix's hands. There was contact and he comes up with it anyway. Forced to go upfield and now Wu takes off. Tip. Whoa, right in front of Carr. Powell. Full extension to keep the possession alive. The separation speed from Beaufort Kittredge. Disc is going to keep floating and what a catch. Not the intended target, but who cares? Francois Devier Hot saves the day for Montreal.
An incredibly hot layout to save that.
Over a few blue jerseys. Rio Pell couldn't get there, but a tremendous play. Great awareness by Hunt.
Style with engagement. Style with confidence. Style with consciousness. Style with vibrance. a wave of social change being born. Waveborn, style with impact.
Traveling can be annoying. Airports get crowded. Buses are too slow and pricey. A rideshare would be nice, but finding the right one can feel impossible. Until now, Tripta makes ride-sharing super easy. So put away your thumb and take out your phone. Sign in to the Tripta app instantly with your Facebook account. Want to offer a ride? No problem. Pick your route. Set your price. Register your car and ready to go. Want to find a ride? Select a route. Pick the best schedule for you. And choose the best driver for you based on reviews written by previous passengers. These reviews help you know the people you're traveling with. The Tripta app also lets you chat with other drivers and passengers directly without having to share your phone number. And for women who prefer to ride only with other women, we have a ladies-only option. That's Tripta in a nutshell. Cheaper than a bus ride, less complicated than a plane, and a lot more fun than traveling alone. Plus, with Tripta, you help protect the environment by reducing road traffic. So now you know. Next time you want to ride, forget your thumb and think Tripta.
Throughout the season, the Montreal Royale have been nearly perfect at home, with their only loss coming against Ottawa. But this past Saturday, the Outlaws got the job done again at Percival Molson Stadium. Ottawa's offense was crisp as the Outlaws moved into third place in the East with their 29-25 victory over the Royale. Meanwhile, at the top of the division, the Toronto Rush put on a clinic against Rochester. The Rush ripping the Dragons apart for their 7th straight win, 27-10. And on Sunday, the New York Empire also delivered a double-digit win. New York's defense dominating in a 24-13 victory over Philadelphia. The Rush and Empire, both likely playoff participants, with the Outlaws and Royale still battling for the final spot. It's Ottawa that controls its destiny in pursuit of the postseason. In the Midwest, Week 12 was very important for the Chicago Wildfire. On Saturday, they took care of business in Detroit, prevailing over the winless Mechanix 21-11. But Chicago's big test was on Sunday in Pittsburgh, a game that provided one of the most dramatic finishes of the season. Wildfire down one in the final seconds, but Goose Helton's flick saved by A.J. Nelson, a remarkable catch to force overtime. In the extra session, Pittsburgh took the lead, and again the Wildfire with a chance to tie. But Tim Fergus's huck sailed, and Helton could not get his whole foot down in bounds. The Wildfire so close again, but it's Pittsburgh that earns the hard-fought 27-26 overtime win over Chicago. Elsewhere, a good weekend for Minnesota. On Saturday, the wind chill stormed through Cincinnati, and Brian Schoenrock scored 6 times as Minnesota led it wire to wire in a 21-17 victory. One day later, the wind chill registered another 4-score win, but this time in upset fashion in Indianapolis. Schoenrock scored 9 more goals as the wind chill defeated the AlleyCats 25-21. Both Madison and Pittsburgh have clinched playoff spots, and despite Indy's loss, the AlleyCats still control their destiny. They have 3 road games left, and they likely need to win 2 of them to have a chance in the playoffs. A couple South Division contests on the final weekend in June, and the Atlanta Hustle started slow in Charlotte, but after falling behind 3-0, Atlanta found its way. The Hustle got 7 goals from Robert Bradham in their 26-13 triumph over the Express. Also on Saturday, the Raleigh Flyers relied on their defense to get the job done against Nashville. David Richardson registered 4 Ds, and he's now 4th in the league in Ds for the entire season. The NightWatch kept it fairly close, but the Flyers win it 20-15. Raleigh appears highly likely to earn a playoff spot in the South, and the second berth is up for grabs on Saturday night with Atlanta hosting Jacksonville. Out west, the San Francisco FlameThrowers journeyed north for a busy and important Week 12. On Saturday, the FlameThrowers got off to a great start in Vancouver. Even without some of their top players, San Francisco's depth was enough
for the FlameThrowers to earn their 5th consecutive win, 22-19, over the Riptide. On Sunday in Seattle, the Bay Area club could not replicate Saturday's quick start. The Cascades found their groove in a hurry, stifling San Francisco and halting the FlameThrowers' winning streak. Just 1 week after falling to San Fran in overtime, the Seattle Cascades prevailed 27-17 at home to move back into second place in the West. With a weekend split, San Francisco still in third, ahead of San Diego, who's in fourth. Seattle and San Francisco both are 1 win or 1 Growlers loss away from officially booking their trips to the playoffs.
We're going to teach your kids about sportsmanship, spirit of the game. We're going to teach our kids conflict resolution. They're going to have a great time. They're going to get an amazing message about cancer. It's not a death sentence. It's not something you need to be scared of. It's something that you need to have a winning attitude towards, like an opponent on a field.
The AUDL has brought a lot of professionalism to Eric. The players are all big role models. They're perfect Eric ambassadors. They teach the game. They love kids. Kids love them. It's just a great combination.
Go Team Eric!
We are Team Eric!
And we're back here at Grady Stadium after a half. Jacksonville Cannons leading the Atlanta Hustle 11-10 as we take a look. Cole Sullivan warming up. It's been a great game so far. Glad to be here with Chuck Kindred. I'm Brian Jones. Great game tonight, playoff atmosphere, and so far it's been about the Jacksonville Cannons making their big plays.
Yeah, it does seem like the sun rises and sets with Jacksonville right now. When they're making the plays, they're scoring the goals. If they make mistakes, then Atlanta can capitalize on them. But it does seem like, I've been watching a lot of Wimbledon coverage lately. It does seem like it's on their racket right now, and if they execute, they're going to win.
Looking at Atlanta, we haven't heard much from our usual playmakers and Jay Clark and Dylan Tennell. What do they have to do differently to set it up in this game?
Well, I mean, they're going to have to assert themselves here. We see an early goal over the top there, high stall count, nice throw out to space. But, those are your big playmakers here. Here you can see Freestatter getting inside for the catch block. But if they're going to win, they're going to need their leaders to step in. Clark got to the end zone quite a bit, and he's probably going to be a guy they're going to have to rely on. You can watch Sullivan here using position, setting up the catch, easy two-handed catch. And here's the kind of thing that we're going to have to see more of from Clark. Big game-changing kind of bidding D's. Watch this bid off the backside. Just comes in, gets position, explodes to the disc, and Walker makes the play. So here we can see some nice motion, some nice flow from Atlanta. You can see they move the disc to the other side of the field, constant resets, and then a nice little touch backhand out to space to set up the break side goal. Spinks all alone. That's the way you want it to look if you're drawing it up on the clipboard. We'll watch Pulos kind of directing traffic here. Sullivan open up the gut. And Atlanta kind of looking around saying, hey, wait a minute, is the disc in? Is that my guy? And here's back of the end zone. Nice play by Clark here. Toes the line just to be safe and makes the fingertip catch. Clark has been a lot of fun to watch.
He really is. It's very exciting as we take a look in there. He's got the goatee and the messy hair. Again, he's been the author of actually some highlight videos. One of the most famous ones, Nick Lance, who plays for the San Diego Growlers. When Lance won the Callahan, it was Clark who was the author of that. He did a couple more this year. One for Elliot Erickson. Actually featured a song called Short People, which I thought was just incredible theatrics for a highlight video. You don't normally see that much design into it. Nonetheless, we're back here in Atlanta. starting to cool down a little bit, but we'll be happy to take our jackets off and get back to it. As we're getting just a few minutes away here from the second half. You know, we contrasted the styles earlier on, Chuck, and we took a look at the positivity and just the Jacksonville attitude. And it seemed to have a lot of success for them so far. Is that something that you really that resonated with you in your playing days?
I always did a lot better with positivity, and I noticed that when I could feel that my team believed in me, I believed in myself more. So I was always a better player on a team where I felt like I fit. But that's, you know, like I said, that's not true for everybody. Some guys really get up for the challenge. You know, they say, "Oh, you don't think I can do it? Well, let me show you. I'll do it." You know, some players really need to be challenged by their coaches. And so, you know, to each his own, you know, and I think these teams clearly have found their identity, found what works for them. It's fun to watch these two teams in particular because they're so different, like we've talked about. Just a young, fiery Jacksonville team. You can see these guys, you know, shouldering up to get going. And it's just a lot of fun to watch. I mean, these guys have all upside, right? Nobody's expecting them to win. Atlanta's always, you know, generally has been the more dominant ultimate scene, and we're in Atlanta. So if they win, you know, it's kind of a shock the world situation. It's a lot of fun. Obviously, they don't want to lose, but, you know, I think the pressure here is probably on Atlanta, especially trailing going into half.
Pressure on the home team, kind of a strange sight to see. At the beginning of the season, you would have said Atlanta and Raleigh are going to be the two teams coming out of it. Both of them have the experienced ultimate programs. Jacksonville it's not a name in the ultimate scene. Nobody's ever heard of that beforehand, but they have heard of UCF, Florida, FSU, which is where a lot of these players are coming from, and even a little bit of North Carolina, Poulos and Bode. And so you kind of start to see those identities blend, and it's these young programs. All these guys have graduated college in the last 5 years. These are all names that have come up recently. Matt Bode was playing just 2 years ago for U23 USA. He's been a guy who's been athletic and up and coming.
And these are the names you're going to want to watch in the future. I mean, you know, it remains to be seen what happens with the Jacksonville Cannons franchise. Maybe they'll turn into a powerhouse, maybe they won't. But these players are really top-level talent, and they have a different look, don't they, than most of the players we've seen in the past. I mean, we've seen size with guys like, you know, Alex Nord, who now plays for the San Francisco FlameThrowers, big guy, 6'5", and bids like a little guy. You know, so he was kind of a paradigm buster. But these guys are just so big and they're athletic. They can run, like we said. You know, they really use position well, and they're going to keep getting better year after year. I mean, they're just entering, you know, their physical prime. Should be fun to watch. Poulos unloads deep here.
Looking deep, giving chase, Atlanta defense, coming up with it anyway. Catrone in the middle of the pack, and Atlanta just looks at each other and goes, "Really? That's how we're going to start the second half?"
My goodness, and I mean, is there a better illustration of what we've been talking about, just playing position on the deep shot? He gets a step deep, Poulos drops it in right where he likes it, puts it up on a shelf out in front of him. And watch Catrone, he just, you know, puts his hip on the defender, and even with the help off the backside, Catrone's so big, so hungry for the disc, extends out with both hands to kind of square his shoulders around the disc, makes it very hard to get through without fouling. And he's got an easy catch. You can tell he loves it.
And that was his, you know, their own oversized defender, Travis Goforth, 6'7", giving chase, known as Tree out of Kennesaw State.
Yeah, right. I mean, plenty of size there, right? No reason he can't make the play, except that Catrone uses his hips here. Watch him just kind of a little bit of a bump. I mean, some refs might call that a foul. You know, there's an argument to be made, certainly, that he's not exactly playing the disc. He's, you know, intentionally moving in a direction away from the disc. Some guys might call that a foul. But, you know, until the ref calls it, and I mean, honestly, like I've seen that for years. That's a position play. It's kind of hard to argue. Look, I'm in front. I get to decide where I go. What are you going to do?
Call by the ref. Contact is going to push it forward here to Nell.
Yeah, I never thought I'd say Dylan Tennell looks small on the field, but with these Florida guys, he really looks very average.
I think you want to say that to Dylan. I mean, I know you're a big guy too, but I'd love to see you and Tennell go up for a jump ball. It'd be actually a great sight to see.
Yeah, it would be one of the...
Did you ever get the chance to play against him?
I never got to guard him. Yeah, I got to be on the field with him, though, and he... to say he was a better player than me is a huge understatement. Yeah, he's one of those guys that when he's on the field, the whole field looks different somehow. And he, you know, I mean, he's an older guy. He plays around the disc more, but he was a guy that absolutely would go deep. He would sky. He would get huge skying Ds. I mean, he really could do it all. Plus, he has all that great touch and just Great deep shots. He was a nightmare.
Olsen. Finding Tunnell. Moore. Looking for Olsen. Olsen watches it come down the line. One-handed stag. Atlanta gets a goal to keep pace.
Does Olsen look a little bit like Kirk Gibson there?
I think, you know, in the way that he cuts, it's very efficient.
Yeah.
I don't know though, you know, Olsen's got a lot of years to go here. He just recently playing U23s and actually had to turn it down. He said, he was talking before the game, he said real life was coming and that he couldn't take the time off to enjoy Team USA in London. He's a great young player.
That's too bad. Yeah, he is. I was thinking more in terms of facial structure. He's kind of a guy that looks like a distant cousin of Kurt, doesn't he?
We'll see if we can dial up the pictures here.
We got to get some side-by-sides. So if you're on Twitter, you got some Photoshop software handy. Yeah, nice play by him and a nice touch pass.
We're answering the important questions here on the AUDL as we get going once again in the poll. 12-11 Jacksonville leads. Sullivan. Bode. Finds Poulos. Blocked. Knowles comes up with it. Poulos tries to go over the top, but Knowles says no and rejects it. I have a layup coming in off the rim. Atlanta going back to it. Spinks. Down the line. And Freistatter comes in and says no.
10 seconds.
Going back the other way now for the Cannons. That was Wooten heading deep. Sullivan toes the line. Wooten was heading deep for the hustle and double team. Sullivan pushes Knowles back. And contact is called. It's going to be called on Sullivan for shoving the defender off with the disc. Sullivan. Freistatter. Bode. Nixon to Bode. Poulos. Hickson. Jacksonville staying very patient. This is a long point. Freistatter. If Wooten is exhausted, and if Freistatter can just run around, it's going to be an easy point. Poulos toes the line, makes it harder than it needs to be, but Jacksonville keeps their 2-point lead, 13-11.
Wow, yeah, tough point for Frank Wooten. He really ran out of gas. You could see him barely able to just close the gap on Freistatter.
So we see again the high back end of Poulos. I'll give that a 10 out of 10. Nice stick landing.
Yeah, way to kick it back and get the toe down. This guy doesn't look tired, does he? That's not the kind of play you make if you're starting to suck wind and slow down a little bit.
Look at Poulos and Freistatter.
That's a combo you're going to be watching for years to come.
A lot of ultimate being left to play. Here, Stapleton finds Clark wide. Tunnell juking in the lane, going deep, and Clark unleashes it, hangs it. Tunnell outstretched. Great throw by Clark.
The old dog Bulldogs still got it. That's what we used to see him do a lot of back in the day. In 2009 when they won Nationals, I saw in the finals, he was setting Bo up and running him deep. That's a play most people wouldn't be courageous enough to make. But he did it very well. You can watch him here. Baits the under, releases deep, shot goes up immediately.
We talked about the throws that were heading out of bounds. Mark actually was victim of that earlier. Pushing one to the right here, he puts outside in on it and hangs it.
Yeah, gets a little more air on it, gets that nice, see how it's curving left to right on the screen. Make sure that that thing turns over. What we saw earlier from him was a dish that kind of stayed inside out, we call it, and trailed out of bounds. Great shot there, and gives Dillon a great opportunity to just run onto the disc. Puts it right out in front of him, lets him go get it.
So we saw a lot of defensive plays in the first half. We're not really seeing that right now. As far as the second, the offense is starting to look a little bit more comfortable. Poulos. Great starter.
I think guys are tired too. I mean, it really takes a lot of energy to get a block, especially against a good offense. And these guys are slowing down. That, the first half, a lot of sun, hot day, humid. Jacksonville had to travel today.
Does Madison have just a strategy advantage above the rest in that they invest so much in their zone defense in that it's just not as taxing to play as man-to-man is?
I think that's probably true, right? They can play, they can really have a slugfest as long as that zone is working and not gas out quite as quickly as most teams. Deep shot is there, and they're going to take it.
Runner against Sullivan. Sullivan goes up and runner over the top. Not in. Good for runner. Sullivan goes around the back. Runner completes the play.
Runner fired up there, makes three fantastic plays in a row. And he's firing up this crowd. You can hear everybody come alive in the big spike. He got backpacked a little bit there by Sullivan. I'm sure he wasn't too fired up about that bid. But nevertheless, runner catches the goal, gets his team fired up. You can see Stu Downs, one of the coaches there. Santa Claus looking like fired up, loves his team.
Santa Claus coming in the 4th of July. I don't know about that one, but it's the red suit, Chuck. I just don't think I could do it right now.
Yeah. Look at this shot. As soon as he picks it up, we all know where it's going. He's going to reward runner for making the play, hustling deep. Gets up over Sullivan, big guy, good in the air, makes the play anyway, and then watch this. With the contact off the backside, runner catches, spikes, and on to the next one. Atlanta really needed that. They looked flat. They can't afford to just hang out and stay, one goal back. They don't lose this game, they're probably not going to the playoffs.
I'll tell you what, I have not seen Cole Sullivan bounce off of somebody before, and I just saw that off of runner. That's a fun matchup to watch. And I think you can feel the energy already here on defense for Atlanta. They're bidding right off the bat. Going deep. Another jump ball. And then I try to get involved with tip. Caught for the goal. Travis Catrone on the backside. Did you see the physicality that Atlanta needed to have in going up for that jump ball there? Or was it a case of just better play by Jacksonville?
Well, let's watch it set up here. You can see definitely position being played here. Jockeying to see who's going to get it. Langdon trying to establish position, and he does get first touch. Catrone all alone on the backside. So, I think if you're Atlanta, you're probably not too frustrated there. They did get a touch on it. They did stop the first shot. But this is what Catrone's doing. He's not even going for the first attempt. He's hanging out off the backside saying, if they don't make a good play, I'm going to clap catch this goal. You just keep him out of my way.
The Spinks, though, hurt this play. Does Krieger get a better read on it? Spinks is coming through. It almost looks like he bodies his own teammate.
Yeah, it does sort of look that way. Seems like Jacksonville works a little better together. Generally they have two guys going to the disc, and one of them is playing position, and the other one's either picking up the trash. Wow, point block on that Huck.
Great grab. Hicks. And they get the contact call. I'm loving the special effects here from the stadium. Just heard a little bit of the Mario mushroom. Yeah. Steven Hicks got huge for that one.
Yeah, nice play by him, and a nice point block. Dylan Tunnell winds up, delivers that patented backhand hook, and it gets almost stuffed completely.
That's one, even if you get it, you're going to feel a little bit of pain.
Yeah.
You're going to have to pay the price.
That's a man's point block.
Clark. Lofty flick out to space. Stapleton on the receiving end from Brian Moore. Well, Stapleton is usually in the backside with as a handler. This time going to the end zone. 14 all. This game hasn't disappointed.
No, it hasn't. These teams are both coming out guns blazing. They got their best players out there. Everybody's fresh. Everybody's, healthy for the most part. And we're seeing a real battle. I mean, here's the shot that we thought was going to the end zone. And look at Hicks just go up. Huge. Make the catch. Nice around flick from Moore. I really like that look. And you can see this setup. Watch the cut coming from all the way to the other side of the field. You can see number 9 streaking to your left here. And that's the break side, but he's got so much space and he sets up that cut so early that Moore has time to just kind of get it around the mark, get it out to space, and let Stapleton go make the play. Nice job by Atlanta, a high percentage goal. They've evened it at 14. Let's see if Jacksonville can punch back here.
Hickson looking for Sullivan all the way. Sullivan boxes out on the backside, wrapping around Sullivan on the doorstep.
Yeah, ref didn't see it. He definitely used that left hand to kind of hold the defender in place.
And a pick called is going to bring it back. 10 yards.
That was interesting. That's the first time I've seen a clear foul on offense in those position plays from Jacksonville.
Sullivan to space. Catrone. From their playing days in Florida, they're going to have no problem there. Travis Catrone is somebody that we didn't start out talking about, but he's made a huge impact in this game.
Yeah, he's come to play. And these big guys, I mean, how easy did that catch look? I mean, there was never a doubt, right? As soon as he gets steps deep, the huck goes up. Not overly concerned about the shape. Just want to get it nice and high and flat, make it come down in a predictable way. Let the big guy go get it. I mean, here's the shot. This is a lazy throw in a lot of ways. It's a big puffball to the end zone.
Well, wait a minute, Chuck. You were saying this was an efficient throw for the Jacksonville Cannons just a minute ago.
Yeah, for everybody else, it's a horrible throw. For Jacksonville, that's...
So you're still liking the 50-50 balls?
Oh, yeah.
(15-14) Jacksonville. Atlanta trying to keep pace. Smith. Underneath, Olsen. Stapleton to Moore. Moore lofts it up. Big play by Jacksonville. And again, we see the athleticism pay off. Some contact on the play is going to give them more revenge gains.
Jacksonville fighting back here. And they got the disc in the red zone, ready to go up too.
This could be huge gains. A hammer. He puts it out the back. Gaines with his hands over his head. He wishes he had that one back for sure.
Yeah, somehow misread the angle there and kicked all the way out the back of the end zone.
I mean, but that's a good look, right, Chuck?
I would throw it. Got to move it a little bit left, get it out to the far side of the field.
Clark, no problem going to the ground. Olsen. Clark. Smith. Stapleton. And contact called. You know, the rest have been pretty good so far, but I don't know how much contact there was on that bid. And sometimes there's going to be a little bit of a brush.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that they're calling it so close around the disc, but on these deep shots from Jacksonville, lots of contact, and generally it's allowed to proceed.
Olsen goes up, spins around a little bit. That's always great when you go up for the goal like that. You get hit a little bit and do twirl, pirouette.
Yeah. And the kick spike and the little swagger walk away. Olsen's pretty fun to watch. Got style, very good player. And watch this, with tons of pressure coming off the front side here. Gets up, right at the peak of his jump, nothing to worry about here, a little pirouette.
And he looks like Kirk Gibson, he's got everything.
He does. Plays bigger than his height. Hungry for the disc. Gets up early, makes the catch, absorbs the contact. And then watch the little strut here. That's a Kirk Gibson strut right there.
Kirk Gibson, you know, he's a salsa dancer. I wonder if Olsen has been taking lessons as well.
Yeah, he might. Got the hips moving, having a good time.
The Victor Cruz.
Yeah, right.
Well, I'm a Giants fan, so I hope he comes back.
He's fun. That's what we need more of, don't we? We need more elaborate celebrations. I do not speak for the AUDL, by the way, but that's what I would like to see.
It's not the no fun league, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So, Bode cradles that one. Hickson reaches up, looking for Sullivan in a pack, and everybody needs to do a little bit more studying.
Hey, now that was good pressure from Atlanta, and they force Jacksonville to make a tough read, and they misread it. That's very encouraging if I'm Atlanta, because that's one of those passes that's been going up. It's not a particularly good throw, but they've been winning them all.
Knowles from Hannah. Timeout here by the Hustle. We're going to be right back here. Tied at 15s. The AUDL game of the week. Playoff aspirations on the line. We'll be right back after a moment. A little bit of Taylor Swift here in the break as we get back. 15 all. 2 events of Jaja roaming the Jacksonville sideline. A lot of positivity needed. You've seen the response from Atlanta. They were down by a couple. Robert Runner made those huge plays. What are you looking for from, if you're Atlanta, what did you just say to them in the huddle?
Well, you know what I would say is, look, you guys are winners. It's time to play. This is your home crowd. The season is on the line. And I would just draw out those champions that are within these guys. These guys are used to winning. They're used to beating up on Florida, okay? So I think you're going to see some of that swagger come out. You're going to see some of that refusal to lose come out. Because if it doesn't, they're done.
Pick up the disc. Knowles. To Clark. Again. That was more of a brace. I know there's contact there, and Clark goes down for a slide. I don't think Clark is trying to embellish anything, but
yeah, I don't see that as a big deal. The guy, just pushed him back 10 yards. You just want to recover those yards in my mind.
Runner. You can hear Hucker coming from.
Okay, now that one was a little bit different. Nice big chest bump on the mark there. Starting to get a little fiery here. Okay, these two teams have, both have a fiery side, and we may start to see that.
Got a player down on the field, number 4, Bradley Sinjins. And Atlanta will march it back 10 yards on a pick call.
Interesting. So the referees getting a little busier as we go through this game.
More whistles. We traded in the self-officiation for the referees. I think we want to speed this up around right now.
Yeah,
it's okay to let a little bit of physicality go.
Well, they've been letting a lot go. I mean, there's definitely been a lot of contact in this game, probably more than any game I've covered this year.
Matt Smith blazes up the line. No problem. Atlanta retakes the lead at the end of the third quarter here with 1:18 to go, 16-15.
How quick is Matt Smith? I mean, he just explodes. I would not want to have to guard him, obviously, a lot bigger, a lot slower. But I mean, you see the way this guy sets up and the way he just bursts out into open field space. There's no mystery why he's found himself in the end zone so many times this season. Watch this, just a burst of speed up line. Clark guarding him. Clark, a very good defender, but not a lot to do. You know, he gives the thrower something to look at, and he closes out on the disc. And when, you know, as a thrower, when you see a guy like him, you can see the fire in his eyes. You can see that he's open, and you know from playing with him that he's going to go get it. Okay, you make a bad throw, he's going to get it for you. He's going to go up, he's going to go out, he's going to do whatever's needed to make the play. That makes you want to throw it. That gives you confidence to execute.
Clark getting set the pole, a minute to go, and you're getting close to the end of the game. You're going to start to see the big guns stay in, I think, for Atlanta.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see what they got left.
See the pump-up speech here. And you don't even need to hear it. You can feel it in the way that Tuba is just demonstrative in his actions and in the way he's speaking. And that's just as important, I think, in terms of what you're saying.
Oh, that's absolutely true. Yeah, I mean, leadership, sometimes that's what it is. When you look at your leaders and you see that they're confident and that they believe, you believe. You know, I've got a couple of relatives who are Chicago Bears fans, and that's always been the knock on Jay Cutler, the quarterback. Not that he's plenty good as a quarterback, but he's a guy that when you look at him, you don't get the sense he really believes in his team, and that can be difficult.
Well, they said the same thing about Eli Manning with the all-shucks attitude. But
yeah, that's a good comparison, yeah.
But indeed, and Bode has some words for the Atlanta defender afterwards, makes the catch in the air.
Yeah, not sure what that was about. Makes the big catch, closes out on it, and then does some sort of a aboriginal dance around his defender.
Take a look again, and Bode is an exciting athletic player, but he has had he's known for being a fire starter. He's known for being a trash talker.
Yeah, he doesn't work for every team, you know, and I talked to a couple of the guys on Raleigh, and they said, you know, he played with them earlier this year, and they decided to part ways, and it really was mutual. I mean, I asked that question, is he a guy that you guys cut? And that's not what happened. But, you know, he's got a certain character, and, you know, some teams wouldn't like this. You know, they see this, they say, that doesn't work for us. You know, we're not interested in that kind of a player. Yeah, he's good, but he doesn't fit. But, you know, on a team that's a little more fiery, a little more loose, a guy like that can be a lot of fun. And, you know, hopefully there's no ill will there. Nothing that I know of, at least.
Tanel. And just watching Clark downfield, and you just see the physicality, hesitation, looking for Clark to space. That one with a lot of zip on it. Back to Jacksonville. Timeout. And we'll send it here to commercial. We'll be right back to see what Tuba Benson-Jaja has in store for his Jacksonville Cannons off of the timeout. It's the AUDL Game of the Week on ESPN.
Motel 6 is rolling out their bright, modern, updated rooms across America, so I thought I'd give you the tour. To your right, you'll see some brand new comfy bedding and bold new colors. To your left, you'll find a new flat-screen TV, so luxuriously flat. Plus, a fully updated bathroom. You get all this and more, still for the lowest price of any national chain. Take it in. Take it all in. I'm Tom Bodette for Motel 6, and we'll leave the light on for you.
Back here at the timeout as the sun has officially gone down. The fireworks are sure to start, but we've got ourselves a quarter and change left to go here in what's basically a playoff game. Jacksonville and Atlanta tied at 16. Jacksonville with the disc. It's been back and forth with both teams at times looking like they're in command. It's really been a physical game. The refs have been calling it tight. They've been doing a very good job, I think, to our estimations. You feel free to contact us on Twitter. We put our names up a couple of times. You can find me at no_look_scuba.
And I'm at Chucktown now. You can see to the bottom of your screen there. No look scuba, huh?
It was my throw. That's how you bust a zone.
That's hard to argue.
Going deep right away. Don't expect anything different. And Bode again. No problem this time. Doesn't have to pirouette for it.
I really want to have a look at Steven Poulos and how he sets up this throw. I mean, this is something that he does that most guys just don't do. Really a talented guy. going against a flat mark, and he basically throws 100% vertical backhand. The harder throw between a forehand and a backhand to huck against, huck against an aggressive marker, the backhand. It's a much slower windup, easier to adjust to. Watch him, he checks in, steps around, and just shapes this all the way out. Not a lot of foot. I mean, Olsen's right on his heels. And I think it's something to do with how he steps out. He gets out low. Like if Dylan Tunnell hucked that exact same thing, he'd be a little more vertical. He'd throw a little more kind of a waist-driven throw. Pulo steps out and really gets his weight down on that front leg and somehow finds these angles that other players can't find. It's really fun to watch.
And it wasn't a full pivot. It was a multi-step pivot where he kind of tapped the ground for a little bit, kept his balance, so it didn't look the huge windup. You couldn't tell it was coming.
Yeah, I've always found it harder to lunge out and huck. Seems like you give up some power when the knees, when you're lunging out. But don't tell that to Pulo.
A few seconds left to go. Hicks has to put it up.
Nice D there from
But there should
Jacksonville.
be a stall called on the field, and Jacksonville's going to get it with a few seconds to go. And you've got Freistetter back with Hicks, and I'll tell you what, I don't like any of that matchup if you're sitting here right now and you're to get it out. Wow. Freistetter in the back of the end zone. Doesn't get much easier than that if you're Jacksonville. And they're stealing this third quarter away with a 2-point lead. All the hard work for Atlanta goes out the door where they can't get the job done in the waiting seconds.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, having that height and having that offensive model helps you at the end of a quarter, but still, I mean, if you're Atlanta, how are you letting the disc drop in like that to the guy you know it's going to? Where's the help off the backside? Why is Tunnell not down there? I mean, they don't have anybody over 6 feet back there to help out. What did they think was going to happen?
Take a look at Freistetter makes the grab. Jacksonville will go into the fourth quarter leading by 2. This game is really for second place in the division. The 6'7" behemoth has been too tough to handle for the Hustle. We'll see if they can adjust. They'll have to. Potentially their last meaningful quarter of the season. Coming up next, we'll be right back with that action. The AUDL Game of the Week on ESPN.
Traveling can be annoying. Airports get crowded. Buses are too slow and pricey. A rideshare would be nice, but finding the right one can feel impossible. Until now, Tripta makes ride-sharing super easy. So put away your thumb and take out your phone. Sign in to the Tripta app instantly with your Facebook account. Want to offer a ride? No problem. Pick your route. Set your price. Register your car and ready to go. Want to find a ride? Select a route. Pick the best schedule for you. And choose the best driver for you based on reviews written by previous passengers. These reviews help you know the people you're traveling with. The Tripta app also lets you chat with other drivers and passengers directly without having to share your phone number. And for women who prefer to ride only with other women, we have a ladies-only option. That's Tripta in a nutshell. Cheaper than a bus ride, less complicated than a plane, and a lot more fun than traveling alone. Plus, with Tripta, you help protect the environment by reducing road traffic. So now you know. Next time you want to ride, forget your thumb and think Tripta.
We're back here in Atlanta, looking at the night sky as we come in. We're going to take a look here at some of the big plays that happened in the third quarter. Jacksonville striking deep. They boxed out Patrone.
Well, using that body, using that big frame to create a big advantage. And here's the deep shot to Dylan Tunnell. Dylan been around the disc mostly. He still knows how to cut. He still knows how to find space and close out. Here's this loose kind of jump ball shot. But this is how Jacksonville makes their living, so they can handle it. See Catrone there getting down and dirty, turning, getting around, finding a way to make the catch. And always finding a way to make the catch. Have been the Jacksonville Cannons.
Well, here we go. Jacksonville leading by 2. Fortunately for Atlanta, they'll receive. Try to bring it within 1 right away. They're going to need a monumental defensive effort. The playmaking style has worked so far. Tunnell for Smith. So much speed. But Smith watches it go through his hands. And you can't have that start here to the fourth quarter.
Yeah, tricky catch coming right over your head. But agreed, Smith's got to find a way to make that catch. Jacksonville's rolling here. They're up 2. They're the kings of the upset here. They would love to send Atlanta home.
Working it around. Sharp throw there. Gets it off. Yeah, a lot of speed.
Right through the wickets.
Jacksonville right now facing a staunch Atlanta defense. They know that this possession very important.
Back of the end zone's open. Let's see what Jacksonville does. They're in the red zone. Hammer over the top.
Perfect on target. LaRock sends it in for the goal. Finding Wharton. 19-16, dire straits for the Hustle.
Yeah, Wharton was just hanging out deep for maybe 10-15 seconds, waiting for the opportunity. Always, always had a couple steps. And watch this huck goes up. Kind of a perfect huck, but trailing away over the head, and Smith somehow just not able to quite locate the disc and get his hands on it. And here's the hammer to the back. Can't let this one up. I mean, that's too easy. Where's the defender? Like I said, Wharton was open for probably 10-15 seconds. Granted, it was deep, but you see more there, just slowly coasting into a stop there. I mean, it's go time. Fourth quarter, home crowd. You're down 3 now. Season's on the line.
And Atlanta's already pulled off their snake in the grass or tiger trap.
Yeah.
Did that earlier in the season. Needing a win over the Raleigh Flyers.
Yeah, whatever works,
Over the top. Hannah saves the day. Olsen. Runner. Krieger.
Nice defense downfield from Jacksonville. Not a lot to look at deep. I mean, Jacksonville's doing a really good job of limiting the open space downfield.
I mean, if you can do this too, this is going to start to take minutes off the clock. We still got 10 minutes to go. A lot of time left here for Atlanta to make a comeback. Olsen right out in front. Hannah. And Atlanta works it in. They do it the hard way. Solid possession there for the Hustle.
Yeah, Atlanta needed that. That's your O-line. You need them to come out, set the tone, say, hey, we're going to take care of the disc. We're going to break the mark, look for our resets. You saw Olsen a couple times had to step around and get that difficult flick around out to space for the reset, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to make sure and reset the disc. No rushes, no big, deep shots out to space, low percentage throws. They're going to take care of the disc and score goals. Nice job by them. They needed that.
Now it's the defense's turn. You see Clark on the field. He's normally been on offense, so a lot of fresh legs. Clark.
Yeah, now would be a great time for Clark to go out, bait, and get one of those big explosive layout Ds underneath. Atlanta needs a spark. They need to put a couple points on the board. They need to get a turn and punch it in.
Patrone. Freistatter. Poulos. Poulos puts it out for Bode. Hanging. Going up. Clark. Robert Runner once again.
Man, Runner's ready to play right now, isn't he?
Runner, though, throws it to right to Freistatter, who reads the poach play. Puts it up for Freistatter from Sullivan. Wow.
That's a big turn of events there. Freistatter comes in off a big explosive D for Atlanta. And he reads that all the way. He knows the stall's getting up there. He knows he's got to throw. So he just camps in the lane. You know, you might be wondering, why in the world did that throw go where it did? Because there's nobody open downfield. Stall's at 6. He's got to let go of the disc. And Freistatter just sprints to the space where he knows he has to throw it. Interesting. Almost looked like a strip there from that replay. And another incredible angle from Poulos on that back end. But no matter. Freistatter makes it happen. Goal. And Jacksonville hanging on to this 3-goal lead against Atlanta. The clock is becoming Atlanta's enemy right now.
We've seen 3-point comebacks this season. Anything above that has been very difficult to know. And just a meltdown for Atlanta.
I don't know how to describe what just happened. Atlanta has started throwing the disc to Jacksonville.
Best. Gets it back. Goes for the around. Dump swing. Quick flip.
Wow.
Over the top. 21-17, the Cannons with 8:30 to go. If you're Atlanta, what do you do?
Well, I'll tell you what, you don't want to see what just happened. You see Dylan Tennell, your veteran, your go-to guy, quarterback of the O-line, go out there and throw a wounded duck to a defender. I don't know how you explain that. I mean, is there some problem with the lighting? That was a bullet to the wrong guy. And we've seen a couple of those right now. If you're Atlanta, I might burn one here. I might talk about this a little bit. You might need to hear from the old man. You might need to hear from Miranda, someone who's made a living off winning and making big plays in big situations. Because Atlanta just is not focused right now.
It all started really with the end of that third quarter where it looked like Atlanta was in command, ready to go.
There's Miranda Knowles, formerly Miranda Roth. For my money, the best female player I've ever seen play.
Center to Clark. To the top. Putting it deep. Looking for Smith. Smith makes the grab. Just what the doctor ordered if you're Atlanta.
Wow. Smith just explodes, kicks it into that 5th and 6th gear, closes out on this disc. When this disc was thrown, the defender was right in the frame, and you can see how much ground he covers and just keeps getting faster and faster. Full extension layout, makes the play. That's the catch of the game in my mind.
Club junior catch of the game here by Matt Smith. Look at him run it down. He's got the form and everything. We're all about style here, right, Chuck?
We are.
Legs go up, the hand goes down, and the crowd celebrates.
You know, and Smith had a little bit of a miscue on that last deep shot. Gives the camera a look, lets everybody see that he made the catch. You know, he needed that. He needed to bounce back and put his foot down and say, you know what? I'm the man. You throw it to me, I'm going to catch it. And he gives Atlanta a chance here. Down 3, Atlanta really needs a break. Poulos with the disc.
Poulos. Freistatter. Right across the defense.
Wow. Thought he was going to get that deep.
Spear. Had an opportunity there for Atlanta. Sullivan. Not a Bode. Jacksonville being a little more calm here in these situations. You feel a little bit of a veteran presence out there. Here's Sullivan just commanding the disc, waiting for the opportunities, knows that Atlanta's been used to the deep shots. Sullivan.
Yeah, they sure look calm, don't they?
Finding Hickson. And Atlanta forcing their way back. There's no cuts.
Yeah, almost like a little mini dominator right now. not even looking downfield.
The runner has just been outrun by Sullivan. Puts it out to space for the goal. Cannons regain their 4-point advantage. Chris LaRock comes on through. Excuse me. Brennan Perales.
Yeah, really great poise from Jacksonville on that point. You know, Atlanta comes out, big explosive goal, crowd's getting fired up, and Jacksonville puts their O-line on and gets exactly what they want. They break the mark, they reset it over and over again, even backing up 10, 15, 20 yards, they don't care. Keeping possession, running time off the clock, and eventually scoring the goal on an easy throw out to space here.
Not much more time to go. 7 minutes here for Atlanta. Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, and 4 goals is a lot, but I will say this is a fast-paced game. There's been a lot of scoring and a lot of quick points. Certainly not out of the realm of possibility that they come back. It's not like if you're watching a Madison Radicals game when you can all but call this one over.
Tunnell to Olsen. To Moore. Smith eating up the underneath yardage. Krieger. Tipped, but Hicks will keep it. Stapleton. Smith clears out. And jacking a wide forehand. Up and caught. Some contact after the play, but survivable. Tunnell goes up, secures the catch, and Atlanta back within 3.
Yeah, big physical bid there. And no pat on the back afterwards, by the way. He trucks Dylan Tunnell and then just walks away. I mean, nowhere near making the play, and watch this. Just gets up and walks away. So this throw around is pretty spectacular. Big, powerful shot all the way around on the backside. Not a big fan of this bid. Didn't touch the disc. Definitely a dangerous play. Rolls up the back of Dylan Tunnell right onto his ankles. And then no apology afterwards. But this is definitely, a fiery team. And you can see Jacksonville lining up in the back of the end zone. They've been assessed a penalty, I think, for that bid. A dangerous bid. And Atlanta gets field position, throws a roller that goes all the way to the front of the end zone because Jacksonville has to toe the back of the end zone to start. So the referee's keeping an eye on this. This is a physical division. I think this game has been more physical than any game I've watched in the AUDL. I've been covering this league for 3 years now. And it's a fun style of offense, or fun style of ultimate. It's just a little different.
And Freestatter drops it. Had it up top. Looks like it hit him in the forearm.
Yeah, lots of pressure. Sometimes as a defender, what you want to do is just put a lot of pressure on the receiver.
And Atlanta trying to get risky and desperate, but gives it right back.
Right, Atlanta trying to do what they're not used to doing here and just throw up a 500. So there is some urgency here. We're almost to 5 minutes left. And they've got some ground to make up.
Sullivan. Poulos. Trying to play one to Bode. Bode goes up, can't make the catch.
And again, nice pressure from Atlanta. They didn't actually get the block, but they put enough pressure on the catch that the receiver misses it. And we just saw a bolt of lightning, which is kind of interesting because I don't, it's not really swirling around out here, not a lot of signs of weather, but then all of a sudden we just saw a bolt of lightning out across the street. So the referee's hitting pause here for safety.
You're going to teach your kids about sportsmanship, spirit of the game. We're going to teach our kids conflict resolution. They're going to have a great time. They're going to get an amazing message about cancer. It's not a death sentence. It's not something you need to be scared of. It's something that you need to have a winning attitude towards, like an opponent on a field.
The AUDL has brought a lot of professionalism to Eric. The players are all big role models. They're perfect Eric ambassadors. They teach the game. They love kids. Kids love them. It's just a great combination.
Go Team Eric!
We are Team Eric!
All right, we're back. Lightning delay here. It's probably going to be at least another 20 minutes. But I'm joined by Dylan Tennell, one of the stars of Atlanta. And Dylan, it's been a tough night. Jacksonville, pretty athletic team, pretty physical team. What are your thoughts about how it's gone so far?
Well, it's been a tough game. We came in expecting it to be hard fought. Both teams are fighting for the season, so no real surprises there. Every game we've had with them so far this season has been physical, so pretty much what we expected. They put a lot of pressure on us defensively, and they're good at coming down with the jump balls with their O-line. Kind of been executing their game better than we have.
Yeah, definitely a tough, scrappy team, lots of athleticism. So, when you were younger, you were a guy that was going up and just playing jump balls all the time. Does this remind you a little bit of you back in the day?
Yeah, a lot of things remind me of back in the day, I guess. But, it's a fun game. It's fun to watch. I expect it's entertaining.
Yeah, definitely been a fun game to watch. Hopefully we get the lightning cleared so we can get back to it. I got a chance to talk to Mike Denardis, coach of the Raleigh Flyers, about what it's like setting up a defense when you're on the field. He said when Dylan's on the field, our defense is totally different. He changes the way that we play because you're a guy who can hit a guy at any spot on the field. How would you describe your technique? Because you're a guy really who's got pretty good power on both sides. You can also throw it upside down. Is that just something you always had, or did you work on that?
I've thrown a lot. I've always thrown a lot. I love throwing. These days I mostly just kind of stand there and throw it hard and hope it gets to a receiver.
Yeah, I think if I remember the 2009 Club Nationals finals, I remember that the wind was so powerful that when everybody else threw, it didn't go where it was supposed to go, but you still seem to have enough snap to drive it through. And I know, maybe talk to me a little bit about your coaches. You've got two pretty dynamic, incredible players in their own right, Stu Downs and Miranda Roth-Knowles. What's it like playing for them?
It's great. Our coaching staff has been just awesome this whole season. Greg had never really done a lot of coaching before, but he stepped right in, and he's always been a really smart player and very cerebral, able to analyze the game well, and he's been doing that for us this whole season. And Stu and Miranda are exceptional too. It's unfortunate we don't have Greg here with us tonight, but Stu and Miranda have there's no drop off there. The two of them both have coached a lot, and they're extremely knowledgeable. And I've known both of them and had the pleasure of playing with both of them over the years too. So it's I feel very fortunate to have the coaching staff that we have.
Yeah, definitely a fun crew, a smart crew. Can you tell me a little bit about Atlanta? This is the town you've played in all these years. It's an interesting community. It's a fiery team. Very successful. I remember watching guys like John Hammond out there when I was a kid. Real fiery, fun guy. What's the Atlanta scene like?
I've always loved the Atlanta scene. It's kind of all I've known. I've played in other cities and travel and stuff, but this is the only place I've really ever played. And as far as I'm concerned, it's the best ultimate city there is. We have a lot of fun playing, but we also play hard. Maybe not always the smartest, but we have our way of playing, and we enjoy doing it. It's been pretty successful for us over the years, I guess.
Yeah, it seems that way.
And our fans have been awesome. I wish that we could have up to this point put on a little bit better game for them because we've had really great support, and I think it's been giving us a lot of energy. So far we've been undefeated at home, and hopefully we can continue that if we get a chance to restart this game.
Yeah, let's hope so. Maybe talk a little bit about the adjustment to the AUDL game. It's a different game, bigger field. There's not as much downtime.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys really like that. Some guys it can be just a real chore to get through these games.
There's a lot of it I really like. I actually like the faster pace. I kind of thought you don't really get to think as much between points as far as setting up your offense, your defense, but just that the pace of it is great. It's like you get out there and you're playing more. It's a longer game, which I like. I love the one game format. It's nice. I like the bigger field because it kind of favors offense, and offense is kind of what I do most of the time these days. But it's been fun. There are a lot of things I really like about it that I wasn't necessarily expecting. There's some things that I miss about the style of Ultimate I'm used to playing, and it definitely has been an adjustment in some ways. Playing with referees is a big adjustment. And one of the things that has been kind of the strangest for me. There's just less interaction between the players because since we're on opposite sidelines, it's a little weird. You used to be on the sideline with the other team, so you kind of joke around with them. You're kind of milling around with the other team. And, then I think it makes it a little easier after the game to kind of talk to some of the guys and stuff. And here, since we're separated on opposite sidelines, it makes it a little harder to do that. I've always enjoyed kind of interacting with both my own teammates and the other team. It's got a lot of friends I've never played with on an actual team, but just played against a lot over the years. And you lose a little bit of that here, but maybe there's some way that they can kind of adjust to be able to accommodate that too.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. It's something I've never heard anybody bring up, but you're exactly right. There's a little more of this, kind of professional man against man look. In any event, it's been a lot of fun to watch you play. I've been a fan of yours for years. I know a lot of us, really enjoy watching you play and really watching you open up the field on offense. So hopefully we get back. We're on a lightning delay here, probably another 10 minutes before we can start it up.
Yeah.
Knock on wood. But Dylan, thanks for the time. Good luck.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
And we're back here, and the lightning delay has seemed to subside as both teams are warming up. They'll get a few more minutes to do that. I'm Brian Jones here with Chuck Kindred. Jacksonville Cannons leading 22-19 with 4:50 to go in the game. We'll get started in just a few minutes. But first, we're going to take a look around the divisions, see which teams we think are going to be a championship weekend. You take a look first at the East Division. You look at a team like Toronto, who's got just an ironclad grasp on that division. After that, we're looking at Empire from New York and Montreal Royal and Ottawa Outlaws in the playoff picture, although Outlaws just suffering a loss to the DC Breeze. That's not a good loss for them. They want to stay close. Out of Toronto, they don't have Mark Lloyd. They don't have Jonathan Martin anymore, both going down to injuries. Can New York do it with Jack Marsh and company?
I think they've definitely got a shot. They've got a lot of talent. And, again, these aren't playoff series, You only have to come out and beat a team one time. So I think New York's well positioned to pull the upset and get out of the East. That being said, Toronto's a powerhouse. They're doing well right now. A lot of the guys are playing on GOAT at the U.S. Open. And they're doing well. They just pulled a big upset. So, Toronto's tough. Clearly they're the favorite, but I think New York is the kind of team that could upset them.
You take a look at another division like the Midwest, which seems really interesting right now. Madison Radicals on top, but the Pittsburgh Thunderbirds are right there in the thick of it. The AlleyCats and the Wildfire. Really, I think this is a race between the Thunderbirds and Radicals, and you got to love Tyler DiGirolamo. He's doing so well right now for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he's trouble. And, when Pittsburgh's a team, they got a couple losses, and Madison has been able to best them, but Pittsburgh at full strength is kind of something that I would not want to see. I mean, they're so explosive, and try throwing a double team on Tyler DiGirolamo and see what happens. It's trouble. The guy can throw it anywhere. He actually prefers throwing hammers. We've seen him sometimes catch an up line, and instead of throwing a backhand open side to the end zone, he'll just carve a blade down the field anyway. So Pittsburgh's. If I had to pick a team out of the Midwest, I'll go out on a limb and say Pittsburgh's coming out of the Midwest.
Take a look at the Western Division now. Of course, we're looking at San Jose Spiders. They've been the dominant team, but they've suffered a couple of losses this year that were a little unexpected. The Cascades were able to take them out. You see the FlameThrowers and the Growlers giving chase, and I don't think the Spiders have this locked up. But we're going to go right back to live play here as we get started. 5 minutes to go. Jacksonville up 22-19. Tennell picking up the disc. Just like that, firing a hammer. Cross field opens it up. Looking for more. More to Smith. Scuba, no problem whatsoever finding Clark. Back to runner.
So they have some time. They don't have a lot. They need to get this disc into the end zone and get on to the next one, because remember, they have to get the disc back. They have to force 2 turnovers and punch them in. Not a lot of time.
More to Olsen. Olsen with the grab.
Wow, these high-risk short throws are not the way to do it, I don't think. If you're Atlanta, get a throw, go into the end zone, and see if you can make something happen here.
Another inside break, all contested in a row, but it doesn't matter. The hustle. Get back within 2 with 4 minutes to go. And now they're coming off of a stoppage for 30 minutes where they're going to feel a little bit rested. They can put in their big guns once again.
Yeah, tough throws. You were exactly right. Lots of contested catches here. Atlanta makes every single one of them, though. And Twinkle Toes Smith gets it in the end zone. So this is a 2-point game. Atlanta desperately needed that break. I think this is a fantastic turn of events for them. And a big layout there from Olsen. Olsen saves the day. If he doesn't make that catch, that's a disc going in the wrong direction off his fingertips. That could be the end of their season. Nice job by Atlanta to keep it alive.
And just bids upon bids for Jacksonville Cannons, keeping it alive. Low flying pole, trying to roll it out of bounds. Poulos. Finds Sullivan. Big fake, back to Poulos.
It's interesting, Poulos not a possession player. He's generally looking to score. So it'll be interesting to see if he can keep it high percentage, just reset the disc, no turns, possession, possession offense. That's not Poulos' forte, really.
It's not Jacksonville Cannons' forte whatsoever, but
it's true.
Right now they're doing a good job of hanging on to it. Freistatter puts one up, over the top, tipped, back to Atlanta.
So just over 3 minutes left. Atlanta down 2. They have the disc. This is setting up pretty well here. And the home crowd, a lot of them stayed. Oh, and then a costly turnover.
You throw it back behind the player. You just can't afford that turnover. And what hope there was for Atlanta just got crushed by the Cannons.
That's very, very costly. And we've seen that, and we saw that on the last point too. Very high-risk resets. The last one, they were able to save. This one, just a throwaway. I'm not sure how to explain that. That's a dump. I mean, the dump, there's no such thing as a good high-risk dump pass, right? They're all supposed to be 100%. But a costly error there for Atlanta. And if you're Jacksonville, you got to feel pretty happy right about now. 3 goals, 3 minutes. We can do this.
Atlanta's still within 2, but it's putting too much touch on it. At this point, you want to give it right to the receiver's hands. There's no bones about it.
There's Freistatter doing what he always seems to be doing tonight. Just stepping in right when they need him. Making a high percentage play.
Tunnell, so dangerous here. Maybe a possibility for Atlanta to get a quick score. Clark.
They run a zipper. Smith has about a half step deep, no throw, however. Gotta huck it here.
Clark. Smith. Stapleton. Scuber.
And look at this.
Over the top. And a foul called through the back.
I don't like these throws, though. Very high risk throws that aren't to the end zone. I mean, if you're going to make that high risk of a throw, why don't you throw it to the end zone there? It works out for Atlanta anyway, though, as Tunnell gets open for the Scuba over the top.
Seems like they were listening to you as Clark puts that one up.
Yeah, if you're going to throw a Scuba, make it a goal, Because, I mean, that's what we've seen. We've seen three possessions and 3 very high-risk throws that were not to the end zone. That's not what you need right now.
You're just on the edge of where Jacksonville could maybe start to play, kill the clock. 2:22 to go.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
You need to get a D. You need to score this next one. I think for Atlanta, it's a do-or-die mode. Do they come down in a double team? Do they come with straight man-to-man defense?
Yeah, if you're Atlanta, you want to win playing high risk. You want Jacksonville to take high risk shots, and you need to be taking high risk shots. Let's see what they can do to try to force the issue with Jacksonville right now. Centering pass to Stephen Poulos.
Finding Catrone underneath.
Nice cut from Catrone. Set that up beautifully.
And they let the inside. Going to the end zone. Freistatter over the top.
Freistatter got roughed up a little bit. Not sure if there's a call. Looks like there may have been. And a foul is called. So it's Misha's disc on the goal.
And that's huge here. His runner was close by. Quick flip for the goal. Sullivan puts it in. 135. Dire straits for Atlanta. Not looking great at this point. Love to take a look at that. Contact in the end zone. (24-21). We take a look at the replay. Just get a little bit of a look afterwards. You know what? There was contact there, but I'm not sure it wasn't until the disc was passed.
I kind of agree. It looked like he misplayed it. He was up a little bit early, didn't give himself his full explosive jump, was trying to play position. And, I mean, you can only have it one way or the other, right? If you're going to play position, then you got to go up and make the catch. I mean, you're sort of setting up contact. But, yeah, I agree. I don't think he played it correctly.
Snell. And this is where Atlanta has to take shots. They don't have the time to not score.
Yeah.
Putting one, trying to bounce it, trying to curve it around. With 1 minute to go, this is looking like the Cannons' day. And here they can start to just play possession.
Yeah. They've got 7 seconds every time somebody catches a disc to pass to one of their friends, one of their teammates. And it looks like Jacksonville is going to control their destiny here if they beat Nashville next week. That they will be going to the playoffs.
Huge. A team that started off the season losing to Nashville, looking like they wouldn't be a threat, have rattled off a lot of wins in a row. Had to go to Raleigh to win there. Hammer safely out to no one in the area defending. 20 seconds to go. Jacksonville's going to win this. They can just hold on. Double team. And a foul called in the center of the disc. $11 seconds to go. Just winding down the clock now, putting up a hammer out the back. Jacksonville gets the win. Gets the much-needed victory to break the tie with Atlanta. They'll go in the next week controlling their own destiny. Atlanta's going to need some help. They're going to need some help from Nashville. Jacksonville fired up, celebrating. We're going to go down in the field in a minute with Chuck. Get an interview, but really hats off to the Cannons. They came through the game plan about big plays. Had a young team go up for a lot of discs. Atlanta just made too many mistakes, especially at the end of a third quarter. They saw them give up 2 goals within 30 seconds to go. Can't afford that to happen. And that's really the difference that we saw here today in that game. The 2-point lead carrying over, that momentum swing. Absolutely huge. Huge. Saw great performances, though, by Christian Olsen, Anders Olsen of Atlanta, Travis Catrone, Misha Freistrater, Cole Sullivan, Stephen Poulos, Matt Bode coming through for the Jacksonville Cannons. That will be a final score of 24-21. Cannons taking it down. Coming to Atlanta here on the 4th of July. We had a lightning delay that made it look interesting for a while. Momentarily we'll be going on the field. Chuck celebrating with the Jacksonville crowds. We see that Atlanta not enjoy their defeat. We're going to set up downfield, and it looks like we're ready to go down to Chuck. So we'll sit it down there. Chuck, it's down in the field.
So I'm here with Captain Brandon Perales after an incredible win, a big upset, maybe not an upset in front of the Atlanta home crowd here. Brandon, what are your thoughts about the game? It was really, really fun to watch.
We know that we like to bring it every week. and we knew Atlanta came to play. We knew their fans were going to bring a lot of noise, and we just feel like we got a great opportunity each and every week, and we just know we can compete, and we're able to prove it a little bit.
How do you guys, I mean, you're a very confident team, you're a young team, but you have a lot of confidence. Where do you think the confidence comes from?
I'd like to think it's our size. We've got some really tall guys that like to come down with the disc and still can possess the disc, still throw the disc really well. And our coaches fire us up. Coach Shiba inspires us, challenges us every week.
You're a guy who likes to throw the disc. What's it like throwing to some of these receivers? I don't think there's another team in the league that's got this kind of a receiver core. Is it a lot of fun when you see one of them going deep?
I love it. It's so hard to holster anything when I know my big guys have a step. It's tough to say no, tough not to do it. And you could see even the strategy defensively from Atlanta was to try to minimize those. They'd bracket our players and really try to minimize our looks. But it's really difficult because there's a lot of space, and they are great in the air.
Yeah, absolutely. They're a lot of fun to watch. You guys control your own destiny. I think if you beat Nashville, you're in, and then you'll be playing Raleigh. How do you feel going into the game next week against Nashville?
I think we're going to take a minute, enjoy this, and yeah, we know Nashville's going to come fired up. They're going to want to play spoiler, and it'll be a fun game. It'll be exciting. I think we'll be up to the challenge.
Well, I hope you guys are. It's been a lot of fun to watch you. Good luck the rest of the way. Back to you, Brian.
And Jacksonville will be celebrating here today. As you can tell, they're fun-loving, and big play atmosphere, big play philosophy works out for the Jacksonville Cannons. They take the game 24-21 over the Atlanta Hustle. Great game here tonight. Thanks for tuning in. For Chuck Kindred, all of the media crew here, I'm Brian Jones signing off here, the AUDL Game of the Week on ESPN.